Hello, everybody, and welcome to Ring Post Radio, the only podcast that I usually have something prepared today. And this is one of those rare days where I don't have anything prepared. So it's the only podcast that is here today. That's recording a podcast episode today. No other one. Everyone's off, but we're on because that's how committed to Ring Post Radio we are. I'm your host, Ryan Knightsey, the voice of the tasteless. Oh, where's my little button? I don't have where it went away. I don't see where my thing is anymore. I used to have a thing where I can click. That's whatever. That's visual. And with me, as always, there it is. How did you find that? I can't find that little slider bit. Why do I not see it? Anyways, with me, as always, the man, the myth, legend, Scotty Edwards. Scotty, how are you doing today?
My hamstrings hurt. TNA broke my spirit, and I can't get a song stuck out of my head, but it's a good day.
I hate to ask, but what song is it?
It's the Beauty Pair song.
Would you like me to
sing it for you? Beauty, beauty pair. All right, you're welcome.
I think, like most people,
line stuck in my head.
Like most people in the world, the song that I have had stuck in my head constantly, and for whatever reason, it's the song that plays on my head as I'm going to sleep. Is "Espresso" by Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, that's what that song's been stuck in my head for about 8 months. Okay.
I don't know a life before this song. You know what I mean? Like it's been in my brain that long.
I remember my friend showed it to me when it first came out. He's like, "This is gonna be the song of summer," and he first played it for me. I was like, "Damn, this is pretty catchy." Mm-hmm. Little did I know, not only was he right, it would never leave my life again.
Yeah. And then you got that SNL sketch that where they do the espresso bit, and it's like, well, then I'm even more lost. Like I feel like it left me a little bit, and then that SNL sketch happened 2-3 weeks ago, and now I'm definitely dead. You know?
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's always that part. It's always that part. Yeah. It's always that part, and with that level of lyric memorization.
Yeah. Because I'm a singer.
And I also don't know why it happens to me every single time when I fall asleep. That's the thing that confuses me. Is that
see, it's funny. The Beauty Pair song is stuck in my head, not because I did watch matches this week, but it's because a friend of mine made sure it was stuck in my head. He said, when you read this, it's going to get stuck in your head. And then I read, and I sang it to myself,
and here we are.
Beauty. And here we are.
I'm sure, Scotty, that would be the beauty pair would just be a great audio cue for us to have.
The actual song or me singing it?
That's a great question. We'll figure that out in the lab. Shout out to Colin Matthew in the chat. Hi, Ryan Scott. How are you doing? Please, Colin, when it comes to Ring Post Radio, it's Scotty. That is the only show.
Yeah, Ryan doesn't like when my name is my name.
Yeah, here that's how you know Ring Post Radio is laid back, because it goes from Scott to Scotty and Ryan to Ryan, as we all know. Anyways, as you can probably tell, it's a light week.
Light week.
That
doesn't mean I don't have takes, though.
No, plenty of takes. We basically have like 4 topics to talk about this week. I don't think anything happened overnight, so I think we only have the 4 to really talk about. And they're kind of they're not big in any capacity, but they do have elements of discussion and stuff. So we do have enough for a good solid episode, I think, Scotty, but we are light on topics as we are. But that's fine, because I feel like we've been going 2.5 plus episodes for the past several months, maybe.
Yeah.
And
take it slow today.
To also be fair, I think the last time we talked about how we had a light week, we didn't have a lot to talk about. We ended up going like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So you never know.
We'll see where this takes us.
Yeah. We will see where today's wrestling endeavors take us. So I guess to that end, this is the topics. This is our rundown for things to talk about. TNA Bound for Glory happened last night. We'll give our thoughts and full review of that show.
You're lucky I'm here.
What's that?
You're lucky I'm here after that show. I was questioning life. I was questioning if I liked wrestling anymore. Still,
we'll talk about it when I guess we get to the episode or get into the review. But like the thing about TNA is that it
sucks.
It's so all over the place.
Yeah, it is.
That like it always keeps me second guessing.
Yeah, you know what's funny? We'll talk about it later, but like, had the show ended at the women's title match, I would have walked away saying, "Wow, that was a good show." You know, that was a pretty good show.
Sure.
But it didn't. So, like, that's the problem.
No. Other things to talk about, of course, is a lot of WWE news and previews for this week, but all of them we're going to talk about because that's the show, and we're gonna, we talk about.
We don't have anything else either.
I guess we could talk about Super Junior Tag League, but
like, here's the thing. I'm not watching it, so have fun.
Apparently had a great main event this morning, but go on.
Here's the problem. Sometimes you can skip a Crown Jewel preview. Mm-hmm. Like, you can skip the Saudi ones, but we have nothing else.
Mm-hmm. And you also, I've long made it clear that my disdain towards the Saudi shows for WWE, mm-hmm. and like so much so that like whenever we cover a Saudi show, it is never in our titles. I never use it as publicity. It is just on the show. I'm not using this as a way because I don't like it. I don't like that these shows exist. That's besides the point.
I don't know why, but the way you just said I don't like it, pop me good.
I'm very, I grew up a drummer, so I'm very rhythmic in my speaking voice. Apparently,
you just don't like blood money. I get it. Good day.
Yeah, I like my bloody wiped clean of blood, as opposed to the opposite. But we're gonna preview Crown Jewel. We're also going to talk about the new lawsuit for WWE regarding the Ring Boys. Not just Tom Cole from many moons ago, but apparently 5 new John Does, according to the lawsuit. We are also going to talk about Samantha Irvin leaving WWE as sort of a contract news bit, leaving WWE. And I wrote down here, Internet explodes as a subtopic to that. So that's our WWE news this week. And again, we could talk about the Best of Super Juniors, but that already started. So I don't feel like we can't really preview it because it already started. We're only on night 2. Stardom started their tag league as well, but that already started.
It's tag league, brother. Like,
I'm sure we'll talk a little bit of like match of the week stuff because I'm fairly confident I know what your match of the week is this week. Well, no, you also watching Old Joshi.
What?
If you weren't watching Old Joshi now,
listen. I'm just gonna be honest. It's still sorry. It does not matter. Okay.
All right, there we go. So I'm sure we're going to talk about that as well.
We can talk about Fright Night. Oh my god, never mind.
Fright Night Dynamite.
Yeah, I looked at the card. Never mind. I don't need to talk about Adam Cole versus Buddy Matthews in a WWE NXT Classic.
What was his nickname? Buddy Matthews. The best kept secret or whatever.
Yeah. He's not really a secret anymore. No one cares.
Fright Night Dynamite. We're not going to talk about the AEW World Tag Team titles, and if Private Party lose, they are broken up forever. Do you think they're going to lose? Do you think that's what's going to happen?
Well, I don't think they should win. So, real clear on this one.
You'd rather see Quay and Zay or what? No,
Quen. It's Quen. Quay and Zay. Jesus.
I was watching Botchamania the other day, which is their 500th episode, and 1,000% that exact mispronunciation of Quen and Zay is what happened with Tony Schiavone on Botchamania, and you did the Excalibur role of correcting me. And
when did they change to Quen and Zay? Like full time?
Like I checked, like as of Cage Match, like last week. Like
okay,
I don't know exactly when, but
because like last time I knew it was Mark Quinn and Isaiah Cassidy, and now like I know Zay was said because he was brother Zay with the Hardys once upon a time, but
Yeah.
I didn't know that was his wrestling name now.
Yeah, apparently they've officially shortened it. They got the old WWE shorthand. But anyways.
Wow. You want to hear a fun story?
Sure.
Of
course I want to hear a fun story.
I was doing some sporkles this week.
What is Sporkle? I don't actually
Sporkle's so Sporkle is like a website where you do like a test and you try to guess a bunch of things and get them right before the time runs out. So I was doing
like a quiz.
Yeah, kind of. Like, so for example, I was doing a WWE one and I was doing every WrestleMania main event. Every participant got 100 out of 100, no big deal. Got 100%, no big deal. But the fun of it is guessing names. Guessing names, right? And the purpose of this was not actually that one. Me and my friend did a TNA World Champions one. Would you like to hear who I couldn't get?
Okay. Let me guess.
This included NWA as well.
Oh.
Yeah.
So the hint there is that this is an NWA World Heavyweight Champion, not necessarily TNA Heavyweight.
Every world champion that was included in TNA's history.
Is the person you forgot an NW were they a TNA World Heavyweight Champion or were they?
There were 3 actually, 3 out of the whole history, but it was pretty impressive how good it went. Got everything else. Okay. One was NWA, one was TNA, and the other was Global.
Ooh. Okay.
Yeah. So, in my defense, I don't think that one even counts. But
I feel like you would have remembered Ron Killings. Like, I feel like that's a fun, interesting fact. Would you have remembered Ken Shamrock?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Jeff Jarrett, you 100% would have.
This one's embarrassing. This is the joke because of something.
Jeff Jarrett would be embarrassing. Like, that's like,
no, Jeff Jarrett was the one I was like, Jeff Jarrett!
Yeah. EC3, was he one of them?
No, got him.
Yeah, that's the thing you remember. Bobby Lashley?
Obviously got him. Come on now.
Okay. Magnus?
That's the one! I forgot that one. I forgot that one was TNA champion.
Okay. All right. Okay. We got NWA.
I'll give you the Global Force. The Global Force was Alberto Del Rio. I didn't even know he was in there.
The Global Force because the Global Force only had it wasn't around that long, right?
It also doesn't specify if it was Global Force or not. It just said the year.
Oh, interesting.
I was like, huh? So I didn't get Alberto Del Rio. And then one NWA champion. This is the whole purpose of this bit, by the way.
Super embarrassing NWA. I don't know.
Rhino, who we talked about last week as NWA World Champion.
Who got inducted to the TNA Hall of Fame last night.
It wasn't the proudest moment.
No, that's for sure. Well,
I got everyone else, so
that's actually impressive. I don't think I would have gotten everybody. And I'm literally doing a TNA rewatch. Well, not rewatch, first time watch.
But the proud moment was all the Mania main events, which was kind of scary.
I don't know if I would get all the WrestleMania main eventers.
The hardest one to remember is Sid.
No, I would have gotten Sid.
Sid was the one that I forgot.
I would have gotten Sid. He would have been a first thought, but I would have remembered because I've been listening to a lot of Sid audio recently for some reason.
Big Sid guy.
Big Sid guy over here. So I would have remembered Sid. Yeah, I think it's once you get to the 2010s is when I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. I mean, Cena,
that's when I cook. That's when I'm in my bag.
Yeah,
that's what the kids say, in my bag.
You're younger than me, so you would have more.
I haven't been connected to the kids in decades.
Oh, Jesus!
When I was 15 years old, I still didn't understand anything that was going on.
Yeah. Anyways, speaking of TNA,
you're welcome. Gave you a nice bit there.
Let's talk about TNA Bound for Glory. Obviously, this took place.
Bound for Glory.
Took place last night in Detroit, Michigan. Would have been a great stop for but alas, they weren't there. Detroit, Michigan, of course, the Wayne State Fieldhouse, obviously sponsored by Bruce. So this show was interesting. So we watched all of it obviously last night. And
Sadly.
my immediate thoughts regarding TNA's Bound for Glory is that, you know, all these companies, maybe not nowadays, but at one point in time, companies would have these discussions of like, you know, wrestling is about different flavors of ice cream, and it's all about the you know, serving different types of things, right? And you know, when I'm looking at my match ratings for this Bound for Glory, I'm seeing stuff that is, you know, some of the best wrestling I've seen this year and some of the worst wrestling I've seen this year, all on one show. It is a treasure trove of diversity in terms of wrestling ability.
It is
In
TNA.
this show, and it is insane. What did you think of TNA's Bound for Glory?
As I said earlier, left me questioning, do I like wrestling anymore? And the answer for most of the conversation was no. Yeah, this show is tough. The show is tough. I started blaming you for things. I was like, you know, I could have been sitting here watching Jackie Sato instead. I'm here watching Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy paint the ring, and I don't know what was going on there. But you know, here's the thing about TNA.
Yeah, this new era of TNA.
It's not good, but it's not completely bad.
Yeah, that's how I feel.
You know, and I feel like that's kind of been TNA's level for most of its existence. Is, you know, there's some good things, and you know, there's not such good things.
Oh, I'm watching the early days of TNA, X Division, AJ Styles, Jerry Lynn, Low Key, Amazing Red. All these matches rule week in and week out, and then surrounding that, you have Miss TNA Bruce or the Dups, the Dup Cup, or you know, all these other stuff that like just sucks so much ass.
Yeah, it's not great. It's not great, King. My main problem, I think, with TNA is that they have taken the WWE-ism of not making people go home happy and ramped it up to 1,000.
What do you mean?
But also, while doing that,
they give the Hardys the big win in the main event.
Spoiler. Yeah, like who cares? In the year 2024. I know it's like probably their last title reign, yada yada yada. But you know what? Doesn't need to be the main event. But here's the difference between them and WWE. I feel like sometimes when WWE doesn't send the people home happy, the payoff is going to be worth it. This is not going to be payoff worth it. I don't care if Joe Hendry wins the world title. This was the time to do it just so we can move on with our lives, right? The difference between this and Cody Rhodes going home as champion, vastly different. And that's where the difference is, you know? And like, I saw people saying like, oh, maybe the payoff's here, maybe the payoff's that. Who cares?
It's also Joe Hendry, and a lot of people
let him know, Ryan.
A lot of people online, Reddit, Cage Match, what have you, see Joe Hendry as this like next coming of Jesus Christ or something. He is TNA's Bruno Sammartino. He is the Masawa of TNA. Like he is the next coming, right? And he's
with these things.
Not a worker by any stretch of the imagination. Like if you saw the semi-main event, which by the way, semi-main event, if that doesn't tip your hand of if he's winning this match or not, I don't know what will. And then you see the main event and see the fucking chairs and the ladders, the table is painted, the ring game is painted by Jeff Hardy. You're like, oh my God, I wonder who's winning this match. But like, you know, it's these sort of things of like, he gets like scrubbed out basically by like 3 guys. All beating down Joe Hendry. And it's like, look, I get if they're trying to do the angle of where, you know, eventually Joe Hendry's going to win the big one and all the NXT fans are going to, you know, be happy. But it's also like,
all the NXT.
It's also, I say that, but it's like, everyone seems to be upset about it online, but I'm not convinced that a lot of NXT fans are watching. Like, there is no movement in the TNA television viewership. It has largely stayed the same pre and post NXT relationship. So I don't think anyone's watching it. Are they watching the pay-per-views? Are they spending $40 on the pay-per-views? I guess we'll find out. I doubt it.
Are you saying that TNA might be like AEW, where everyone just tunes into the pay-per-views now?
Well, I think it's always been that way. Well, it hasn't always been that way. TNA's long had a history of nobody watching the pay-per-views. So
I was gonna say I don't think it's been that way for TNA ever. Actually,
if anything, it's a good thing for TNA that people are actually buying the pay-per-views. But yeah, I don't like this idea of. I'm trying to think of a good comp. There was a comp in my brain, but I forgot it all of a sudden. Of just like somebody that like is so obvious. It's the Matt Cardona thing. It's the Zack Ryder thing. Dolph Ziggler. Name me any of these guys in WWE where it's like they get such a groundswell of support that people want to put the world title on them. But it's like this guy shouldn't be the world champion of this company.
Here's the thing about Zack Ryder, as someone who lived it. That guy was about 20 times more over than Joe Hendry's ever been. Okay? That guy was selling the most merchandise. I've never heard a thing about Joe Hendry merchandise.
That's fair.
His song does not count. He's selling the most merchandise. He's featured in angles with the world champions because he has the US title and stuff. Like,
he has a title.
that was like insane.
Yeah.
Right.
Plus, it's the WWE crowd, so it's like a bigger audience and everything.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. That was different because he had the online show that got really popular in a time where like that was very new, obviously.
Yeah,
and especially for a company that didn't embrace the internet at the time.
Yeah, you can credit him with a lot of getting WWE getting into YouTube, right? And the thing with Zack Ryder is I would also never classify Zack Ryder that moment as like a meme wrestler. It's Joe Hendry feels like a meme wrestler. His thing is that he turns around when he say his name, and then he appears.
I have famously called MJF a meme wrestler that's trying to be a main eventer. So,
but it's also this just groundswell support, and it's one of those things that it's always challenging for a booker to be like, do I go with what the fans will be happy with? Especially in this moment, the time felt right, in a lot of ways, story-wise, to go with Joe Hendry. I personally disagree with going with Joe Hendry ever, but in a lot of ways, story-wise, it felt right to go with Joe Hendry here. However, that being said, it's the challenging notion of being a booker, right? Do I go with the thing that is probably the wrong decision, but it'll make the fans happy, which is ultimately, is Joe Hendry going to become a draw for a company?
I'd argue that's something TNA should be doing.
Maybe
because here's how I look at it. This was your one chance to have more eyes on you than you have probably in a bit.
Fair.
A lot of people are watching for this match. Hell, the people in the building were watching for this match.
That's that and Rhino and the call your shot moment.
Right? So that alone, I think, makes this foolish. This isn't WWE. The people aren't going to be there no matter what in a month or 2 or 3 or 4, right? Like, you just don't know that. And you talked about it with the TV. People aren't watching the TV. So this was their shot. And
to that end, by the way, you're saying that people aren't watching the TV, but the crowd here was super into Joe Hendry. What kind of crowd do you think this was?
NXT. Here's the other thing about watching this show that has to do with the world title. I watched almost all the men's. I didn't watch the pre-show. I won't sit here and lie. I just knew Kazarian won, so I was like, I don't need to watch it. That told me everything I need to know about what they're planning for later. Which probably was the funniest part, by the way.
I figured out that Kazarian was going to be in the gauntlet. I was like, oh, he's winning.
Yeah. So, what was I saying? It'd be really funny if Joe Hendry wins the title, then they do the call your shot. He takes the title away from him. I think that would be peak TNA. Anyways.
I thought that I was fully expecting that to be the result of the
that was too predictable, though.
Instead, we needed JBL.
So I watched every men's match on this main card, and I walked away saying there's only one person deserving of being world champion right now in this company. And I'll tell you right now, Ryan, it was not Joe Hendry.
All right, so I'm going to say it's not Joe Hendry. I'm going to say it's not Nick Nemeth.
No.
Who had the most reaction? Vibes. Other than Rhino had a lot of reactions.
TNA World Champion right now, based on the work he's putting in, based on, I think, just the growth.
Yeah. Can we say? I have a guess, but can we say it at the exact same time? For
Sure.
fun. All right,
Sure.
ready? 3, 2, 1.
Mike
Santana.
Santana.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched this guy and I'm like, okay, so they're lucky. They're lucky that AEW is like, yeah, we don't want you as a singles guy, so go do your thing. And I give him a lot of credit. You know,
Yep.
we live in a world in wrestling where a lot of people are unhappy and they voice their displeasure and then they just keep doing their job.
Yeah.
He did not do that. He said, either I'm a singles guy and you push me as a singles guy or I'm out. And that's what he did. And I'm watching him on this show. I'm like, this is the guy. This is the guy they should be going with. He is there's a realness to him. I think he's very good as a singles guy now, as a wrestler, which if you asked me right when he came back, I'd be like, you know, whatever. But like he was fresh off injury. And you know, he
he's never proved himself, and now he's proving himself.
But you know, between that random Ortiz match on Rampage once upon a time, WrestleMania weekend this year with Yamato, and just like anytime I see him on these shows, I'm like, he's the guy that TNA should go with in the long run. Like, he's great. And he beat Moose. I was like, he beat the former world champion. Like, there you go. This is wrap it up in a bow. Get the title on Mike Santana. So that was my big takeaway from the men's side of the show. On the women's side, they won the show. Congratulations to them.
Well,
I didn't watch the tag match, so I'm only talking about the world.
Yeah, so that's what I mean. Like
the knockouts,
the singles women's match won the show.
Which, by the way, we knew was going to happen. We said it last week. We knew that was going to be the best match.
Oh, and I have thoughts about that match for sure. But yeah, I agree about Mike Santana. He has a realness. He has a good vibe about him. He wrestles well, at least well enough for the TNA environment. But even then, outside of it, you know, like that AEW match you mentioned, the ETU match you mentioned from WrestleMania weekend, from other things I've seen him in.
How did you remember the promotion?
ETU. Expect the unexpected is what it stands for. They have he has something there. However, the problem is that Joe Hendry's getting a lot of eyes and buzz for TNA right now. And the fact that he lost here means that whoever wins the title next, people will reject because it's not Joe Hendry.
Yeah.
And they're in the process of pushing Mike Santana.
So here's the thing. I'm pretty confident that Hendry's getting it still. Which obviously, if you couldn't tell by this podcast, doesn't interest me at all. But you know what? You can do whatever you want. I think the whole thing is that I don't like TNA. I like one part about TNA right now. Because a lot of the time when I used to tune in for TNA, it used to be for the Motor City Machine Guns. They're tag champs in the biggest company in the world now.
Third match.
I don't care because I saw someone make a very perfect tweet.
I don't care either, but continue.
I made someone make a very perfect tweet. There's a very good possibility they'd be fighting like the premier athletes on Collision in their third match. And I was like, yeah, no, you're right. No, I can't even say you're not. Like, I know. Did I ever expect WWE to just give them the tag belts? No. But you know what? I'm cool with it. You know why? Because there's no one that deserves the instant push more than the Motor City Machine Guns. I'm not going to lie to you. After all these years, good for them. And they have the good-looking tag belts, which matters even more.
They're showcasing the Motor City Machine Guns as super important for the tag division, and they're trying to build a tag team division around them, which is very much needed. Do I love how that their title win is sort of just like they won because of a bunch of outside interference? No, I don't love that, but I can make up for it because it was also like the second match of the night for them. So there is an element of like, well, it gets around like that thing. If they won, then it almost it's one of those things. So we protect the loser.
It's very WWE to have them lose that match. So listen, I'm just gonna take the win and move on.
Yeah.
I don't remember what I was talking about. Why I watch TNA? Why I watch TNA?
Yeah.
It's usually the Motor City Machine Guns, who are no longer here. An X Division match, which I'm usually into, and I thought this one was a good one.
Yep.
And usually Jordan Grace is doing something really good. Would you look at that? That's what we got.
Yeah.
But thankfully, it was against the person that you and me have been trying to push for the past 2 years in this company.
I think that 2 years in this company since the moment she arrived back from Japan during COVID. Like we were like, somebody sign her, please.
This is true. I always thought AEW had her on multiple episodes of Dark and they didn't sign her. I'm like, why?
Yeah,
why not?
And I think she made her television debut and she lost in like a job match or something.
I think she's built herself up to the point now where whenever that contract's up, she'll have a lot of suitors. But yeah, now I watch TNA and I'm like, well, 2/3 of those things are here at least. And then I continue to watch TNA, including if I can go X Division champion, but not really. The graphic said so. But yeah. I was like, I literally sat there. I was like, did I watch him lose?
Yeah.
I was like, they just showed the graphic and they just went with it. And I was like,
I swear he lost that match.
I wanted to ask the question of like, why make the graphic if he wasn't winning?
Yeah, because that was the other thing. It was like, I swear he lost the match. And then I had the thought of like, was the match result in some way was supposed to be that he was supposed to win? Like, I was trying to think of like how the match ended of like, was it a botch? Did they screw up the finish somehow? Did Mike Bailey not supposed to win?
Crazy.
Yeah, I was very confused. But
the Speedball hit them with this isn't going to work for me, brother, mid-show.
Bold. Well, yeah, let's talk about TNA Bound for Glory. We'll start off with the main event, of course, which we've kind of already talked about these slightly, but we'll start here. The TNA World Tag Team Title Full Metal Mayhem match where everything's painted by Jeff Hardy for some reason, which really tipped off who was winning this match. They really wanted us to be like, the Hardys are going to win. And it was. The Hardys get the win by defeating ABC and the System, Brian Myers and Eddie Edwards in a 3-way. I didn't really like this match so much. It was, again, your very much bog standard ladder TLC match. There is some element of creativity. I don't recall ever seeing the sort of the split ladder as an element, but I do vaguely recall some of that in Ring of Honor. So there's some elements of creativity, but there's also a lot of elements of walking around, not being able to do anything because we're so slow. This match went nearly 30 minutes, which is way too long. There's a spot where early in the match, all 6 guys go to the outside, go into the crowd, and Ace Austin does a splash off the risers through Brian Myers through a table. And I'm sitting there being like, why is it 4-on-2 right now? Why isn't Chris Bay running to the ring while everyone's distracted to go get the belts? And then just like doing it and then like going over there, doing that spot, and then everyone comes back. And it's like, this was a very boring, creative way to do this spot so early in this match. Like this could have worked later in the match and made more sense in terms of like some people are knocked out and then these two are fighting over here. And then stuff like instead of having the match be like 6 people fighting almost at different times, it was just 6 people fighting at the same time together. And it was very confusing and bad in that sense. Didn't like this match. I went 2 on it. I thought it was real bad. Plus, it lost some points because the fight trailer feed constantly was dropping. I think it dropped 3 or 4 times on me. And then for whatever reason, I lost audio for most of this main event as well. Apparently you had audio. A lot of other people had audio, but for a reason I had no audio. So the feed kept dropping and the audio went out and the match was boring and way too long. And I did not enjoy it. I thought it was really bad. And I thought the irony for me, Scotty, from my perspective, the irony of the probably last ever tag team title win for the Hardys happening in complete silence for me was so very funny. I enjoyed that so much. But I really hated this main event. What did you think about it?
I saw someone make a great tweet when this match was over. They said 2 matches. It was they're lucky Marufuji versus Ibushi happened, and they're lucky that Jay White versus Billy Gunn happened.
Yeah. Don't forget Bully Ray versus Raj Desi.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This, in terms of American pay-per-view, is the worst pay-per-view main event I've seen this year. End story. Like, this was atrocious. Terrible.
Was the Ibushi match the main event?
It was, but that was Japan.
Yeah.
So that takes the worldwide main event. Congratulations. Just all-time bad.
But that also had like an outstanding circumstance.
Which, by the way, I saw people on Twitter talking about Shinsuke Nakamura potentially going to AEW, and I saw everyone say, no, he's washed. You all want Ibushi back. Ibushi's beyond washed. Like, that guy's not coming back. Like, he's done, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Shinsuke, like, just isn't trying and hasn't tried in years. You know, there might be something in there still, right?
Yeah,
it could be something that's like, I don't know, 3.5 stars. Ibushi ain't touching 3.5 stars in a singles match.
The problem there, I think, to be fair to a lot of people, the one opportunity he's had to leave WWE was wrestle Muta in Noah. However,
I loved that. That was pomp and circumstance. We love that shit.
But to be fair, it was also like Keiji Muto. So you're not going to get like a 5-star classic work rate match out of Keiji Muto in any stretch of the imagination.
Well, he's leaving again to do Oka Sasaki. So you know what?
We'll see. Who's green, but I think has way more wrestling
ability. Fascinating match, admittedly. But my point still stands. I had to just say that because, like, you guys want Kota Ibushi back? Are we kidding?
Yeah. I'm also going to reserve judgment, at least right now, only because a lot of people are like, including us, that were like, Shelton Benjamin's washed, and
I never said Shelton Benjamin was washed. How dare you? How dare you? I always believed in Shelton Benjamin.
And he immediately came on the screen and immediately proved his worth. And I'm like, all right, he's fine.
Ain't
he's
no
good.
Stopping me. Nah. What was I talking about? The main event. The main event was terrible. The main event TNA was terrible. I gave it 3/4 star. The only match that was ranked lower, the world title match.
I was gonna say you also didn't see the women's tag, so
no, I did not. I usually don't, to be fair. I had no interest in watching Wendy Chu and Rosemary. I'm sorry. I was trying to catch up to get to the main event on time, so I had to skip something.
It wasn't good.
This ladder match was way too long, way too plotting, way too boring. Nothing was exciting about it. They redid the freaking Edge and Jeff Hardy spot, which I thought was the lamest thing in the world. Mm-hmm. Then Jeff Hardy almost concusses himself by doing his ladder spot as always. He smashed his head on the back of the ladder. I'm like, this match is terribly unsafe. 4 of these people should not be in this match. This is useless to me. This is not good. I don't want to watch this. And also, half the time I can't see because there's paint everywhere. So paint is just taking up all the
or you literally can't see because the feed goes out.
That was the best part of the match, honestly. I was like, you know what? I know I'm not missing anything. That's the thing. You know, I'm working harder to get this feedback up than I am wanting to watch this actual match. This stunk. And I don't think this should have been the main event. I think there's something incredible about the Hardys bumping Joe Hendry's moment. I think that's very funny because essentially that's what happened. They decided this should be the main event and push off the Joe Hendry moment. And here's the thing. When they want to do the Joe Hendry moment, which I'm guessing is at that big Dallas show for Genesis.
Yep. And then first show of the 2025 season.
No one is gonna care. Period. End of story. While TNA may be hard to kill, I'm questioning if maybe we should just, but yeah, this was really bad. This was really bad.
Was there any reason why it was in the main event? I'm trying to think. For
the Hardys to win.
Yeah, but I was sitting there and I think you talk about
the women's match was never getting the main event.
Yeah. I think you're talking about the idea of sending the crowd go happy. Sending the crowd home happy. I think that is a way to do it. I think the problem is you do it after the Joe Hendry spot, it becomes deflating. If you did as you're part of your triple main event, you did TNA World Title match, then this tag title match, and then the women's title match, the knockouts, I think that would have sent the crowd home super happy. But it was formatted incorrectly. And I was also thinking,
hold on. You thought that the women's match was going to send the crowd home happy? Did you hear that crowd?
I did hear that crowd, and
I wasn't sure if they were alive after that match.
That we'll get to that.
Which was disrespectful to the two women in the ring.
I fully agree. But I was trying to think of was the TLC matches in Detroit, like the first ever ones I was like, why is there like historical significance? Why there?
Well, the reason why I had a main event because they painted the ring.
Yes, that is truly what it is. They had to put down a whole new canvas, which really, like I said, tipped off who is going to win this main event. Anyways,
yeah, it made me think Eddie Edwards had this in the bag.
I mean, there is the heat element of the system getting the win.
They already did the heat element before that.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, can we just get to the main event? No one wants, not the main event, the world title match. No one wants to talk about the SWAT.
You mean
match.
1/3 of the triple main event? Go ahead.
Yes. Do you know they call their shows PLEs?
Yeah.
I lost it when I heard
that. There's an element of there's a conversation happening around how like so much modern American wrestling is just turning more into just WWE, especially now that WWE's hot. And it is like, why TNA? Why are you just going to be an NXT show in a lot of ways, I guess?
I wish it was an NXT show. They have interesting people.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no, I don't. Halloween Havoc does not look that good. So I take it back.
Yeah. Could preview it. We don't have the document.
We could preview it. There's only one match I'm interested in though, and that's just because I want to watch Stephanie and Julia. I don't really care about anything else.
Yeah.
World title match.
Nick Nemeth defeats Joe Hendry. TNA World Title match. Special guest referee Frankie Kazarian.
This match was terrible.
Yeah,
legitimately not good.
So the idea of this match is that Frankie Kazarian won the Call Your Shot Gauntlet, which again is like WWE, like AEW, like all these other companies, like New Japan. I guess really not New Japan, but AEW, like WWE, all these other companies. It's a Call Your Shot Gauntlet where you can cash in at any point and win the title. We saw Moose do that to Josh Alexander a number of years ago. Famously. So the idea is, oh no, the guest referee has this possibility. And they tease that multiple times throughout the match. I think twice, actually.
Oh my God. The one where he goes out to get the cup, and then Hendry goes out and like, no, you won't do this. You're the referee. Go do your job. I was like, this is the middle thing ever. I was like, why would he listen to him? Just hit him with the cup and do it. Like, this is so stupid.
Yeah. Why would he listen to him? And then he I think it was around that time where Ziggler knocks out Hendry, rolls him in, and then
he does a quick count.
Does a fast count.
Yeah.
And then he never does a fast count again for the rest of the match, which was very dumb. And then I think the second time he teased it is when Bradshaw returns, I guess, comes out. JDL comes out. He decks Kazarian. I think Nemeth was also out at this point. Hendry was on the outside. Bradshaw goes to leave, and he tries to whisper something to Hendry's ear, and Hendry's like, no, or whatever. I guess he says no, and then Bradshaw lariats him to a thunderous amount of boos, and then leaves, and then Hendry eventually loses. And that's it.
He also hit Ryan Nemeth for some reason.
Oh, yeah, as Ryan Nemeth shows up out of nowhere, gets decked, and then that's it for him. He's out for the count. Oh, poor Ryan. Poor Ryan.
The match sucked. Half star.
I don't think it was that bad. Because you also know me. I don't go that low.
There was all interference. There was the stupidity of the Kazarian aspect.
Mm-hmm. I will say I liked it.
Wasn't good either. I found the wrestling not to be good.
I will say I liked it more than the main event. Is my take. I thought it was more
at least high spots, like to interest me a little. Like this had nothing. I'm watching this match, right, Ryan? I'm like, is he even a wrestler? Like,
no.
What does Joe Hendry do?
He sucks so bad.
Like the thing is, like, oh, also, what was his entrance? Why did he have a chainsaw?
That's apparently like a old Eminem Slim Shady thing.
Okay, he's Joe Hendry.
Well, he tried to get Eminem to show up at the show.
Oh, I can't imagine why he didn't.
Yeah. Can't imagine why TNA couldn't pull in that big fish. But yeah. It wasn't good by any stretch of the imagination. I thought Nick Nemeth's work was fine. It's Nick Nemeth. It's whatever. Frank Kazarian didn't really make sense as a special guest referee, and it made sense in the story, but how he did it was weird. And then Bradshaw comes out, and I still don't know what Bradshaw's about. So here's the thing about JBL. There is an element where JBL is probably one of the top 5 most interesting things in wrestling right now, simply because I don't know at all what's happening with JBL, but he keeps showing up in all these different promotions and decking people and then leaving. So I don't know what he's about or why he's doing anything he's doing in all these promotions. So there's an element that I'm like, I'm interested in it, but then you deck Kazarian, you help Nemeth out in the previous pay-per-view or PLE or TNA Plus special, and then you also deck Joe Hendry. So it's like you're morally gray. You're like you do whatever by the law, I guess. I don't know. I really don't know what his deal is. So I don't know, man. I have nothing to say here. Just that like Bradshaw interests me in a way that's like I don't know what's happening, but he keeps coming out of nowhere to deck people, and I enjoy. He has a great lariat, so I'm not going to say it's a bad thing.
Like, do you think he's aware of what they have him doing?
No.
Okay. Cool. Well, I didn't think so either.
Can we try to corkboard this and see if there's a pattern? Maybe that's what we need to do. Maybe we need to corkboard.
Maybe it all leads to TNA World Champion Bradshaw.
Now we're talking, baby. So he shows up in TNA. He's showing up in MLW. He's showing up in AAA. Is that it? I think that's it.
GCW, right?
Oh yeah, he showed up in GCW.
Oh, I know what it is. I know the connection.
I know what I feel like. I have a feeling what
all these promotions suck ass.
Yeah. Well, to that end, he hasn't showed up in NWA yet, so I guess NWA ruled.
That's true.
By your admission, Scotty,
they were on the CW after all.
Yeah, I guess to be fair, I don't know.
Wait, let me take that back. The CW app, nothing else.
I was going to say that maybe Bradshaw has shown up in NWA. I don't know if he has.
He could have. No one would know. Who would know?
Yeah.
Who is even the champion of the NWA?
I want him to show up in like GLEAT. Like that hasn't happened yet. What is Bradshaw making the flight to Japan? You know?
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about JBL is he's built to be like a foreigner in Japan. You know, just this big.
Oh, no, he worked all Japan.
I know, but like even still, like this guy's still just he hits the lariat. That's all I need you to do. He's actually, if this was 2 years ago, he'd be prime for the Noah main event scene.
Oh, I agree.
He's like 50 years old.
Actually, would rule in a lot of ways for me. I think would be if he shows up in All Japan, lariats Kenta Miyahara, and then leaves. You know how well Kenta's gonna sell that too. Like, and the crowd's just gonna like go ballistic. Like, I would actually kind of enjoy that.
We're booking for Bradshaw.
Yeah, let's book for Bradshaw. Yeah, so I don't know what's happening with him, and I don't know if I'm interested in finding out, but I know that my interest has been piqued.
You're interested in finding out.
Yeah, I would like to know, but I am unconfident that there's any sort of solution to this.
So. I read multiple things like JBL in the year 2024. I was like, buddy, JBL was the only good part of the entire last 2 matches. What are you talking about?
Mm-hmm. He got the crowd interested. The crowd loves some JBL. So, hey, man, star's a star.
Where do you think he whispered to Joe Hendry?
Called him a mark, probably.
See, what I thought he said was stop singing. And then he grabbed him and was like, I will keep singing. And then he's like, all right, buddy. And then he drilled him.
He told him that there's a good chance Social Security isn't going to last so long. So make sure you get a Roth IRA.
Maybe he said you should have kept the what was he, the chainsaw, and Joe Hendry goes, what? He's like, you should have kept the chainsaw because now I'm gonna kill you. And then he grabs him. He's like, what? And then he hits him.
What he whispered to him was, the closest thing to heat you'll ever get is the heat storm. That's a fun one. That's a little bit of a thinker, but not really.
Yeah, let's just move on.
Oh, the other main event on the show was
only main event, in my opinion,
versus Jordynne Grace. Jordynne Grace defending the TNA Knockouts World title after seeing open challenges from around the globe of just TNA and NXT. Jordynne Grace ends up losing the title to Masha Slamovich here in 16 minutes and 44 seconds. Scotty, I legitimately thought this match was the best of the night. I see some people on Cage Match have it. Actually, no, it is on Cage Match. It is the match of the night, 9.05.
Holy!
I share that sentiment because I went 4.5 stars on this match. Legitimately, I thought this match was great. The crowd sucked ass and was not interested in the match in any capacity, but I was over here in my room hooting and hollering, thinking this match was legitimately great. You have Jordynne Grace pulling out TNA legend move sets from Samoa Joe and Jerry Lynn. You got Masha Slamovich doing Marufuji kicks, and the Burning Hammer, of course. How could I forget the Burning Hammer? I
got a half point bump from just that for you. I know how that goes.
You know me. Yeah. At least it gets a bump whenever I see a Burning Hammer. And the Burning Hammer got 0 pop from this crowd.
Shocking that the TNA fans of 2024 have no idea what a Burning Hammer is.
Yeah. It's like also it's just a cool move. Like they're not even reacting to cool moves. Like where did these fans come from? Like no one gives a shit about moves anymore. And even if they look cool, no one cares.
Well,
like,
because Ryan,
it's all high flying moves.
I don't mean to sound like that guy, but there's just too many moves now. So when the actual cool moves happen, people don't care as much.
Yeah.
But when someone does a triple flip for the 19th time, it's like, I watched the Vikingo Speedball match. They had a lot of reaction to that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I was super into that one.
Yeah.
I thought this match was legitimately great. I thought this was the best Masha Slamovich I've ever seen. It makes me infuriated that she was in a tag team with fucking Killer Kelly for so fucking long that it got me to the point where I was considering Masha Slamovich is actually bad. And luckily she's not. Ever since the TNA regime changed, they decided to push Masha and then using a lot more of her GCW aesthetic and vibes and confidence in her wrestling character and in her wrestling moveset and everything. And she looked great. I thought she was the best I've ever seen her. Jordynne Grace also was great in this match. The crowd was abysmal, but these ladies didn't stop the crowd from making sure that they had a great match. And I thought legitimately match of the year contender, not going to be my match of the year, but possibly top 10 match of the year for me. I would have to look at the rankings there, but legitimately, I thought this was a fantastic match. Scotty?
Yeah, I thought it was great. I think, when I watch Masha, I walk away saying, I'm happy she got that TNA contract years ago, but I could have had her as a special foreigner in Japan these past 2 years. And I got a little bit of that this year. Her and Miyu Yamashita was really good at the beginning of the year in TJPW, but there was just so many opportunities. This is a wrestler that she got stuck in Japan during COVID, and she was over there with Marvelous, and that led her to just continuously work with Chigusa Nagayo and company to get better and better and better. And it's not a shock that for the past couple of years, I have felt and others have felt that she is one of the best in America. And this felt like her first true opportunity to fully showcase that in TNA. The only other times were against Jordynne Grace 2 years ago when they didn't go with her, which I thought was the wrong choice then. Thankfully, they went with her now. She had a great showing. She is just such a excellent pro wrestler, I think. And Jordynne Grace is too. I want to give Jordynne Grace a lot of credit. You and me have, we don't have many consistent TNA things, but the one consistency that we've always had is whether it was her or Deonna Purrazzo. When they usually lead these divisions, they do a really good job at delivering in their matches, especially when they're in there with, it used to be each other. They used to have great matches with each other. But this time with Masha, Jordan, and her just killed it. I think watching Jordan Grace, like, she's been ready to leave TNA for a while now. And obviously
she's been not long in the tooth, but it's like, what more can we do with Jordan Grace here?
Yeah, so obviously she's going to leave in January. I think that's, not really a secret. I'm happy they got ahead of it. Put the belt on Masha, have her now lead the division, and hopefully rebuild this division as well. I think watching Masha Slamovich, she is truly a great wrestler that, kind of gets pigeonholed in the TNA aspect of things. But anytime I've seen her have a match that matters against someone that I know is capable of having a good to great match, she delivers. So this was another sense of that. And I think this is the match that's worth going out of your way to see from this show.
1,000%. 1,000% for sure. It's also one of those things of like, people constantly talk about how TNA has a great women's division, and the really thing is that it is 2-3 women that are great at the top, and they don't have a lot underneath. And losing Jordan, more than likely, I'm fairly confident that losing Jordan in the new year, which is going to happen, they don't have a lot underneath. I mean, you look at this match, and then you look at like the women's tag match, right? With 3 of the 4 being TNA contracted talent. You look at, I didn't even watch it, but you look at the opener on the pre-show, right? Which I'm looking up because I don't remember, but I know it was Ash by Elegance and her new tag partner Heather by Elegance versus Zaya Brookside and Brinley Reese, who is a NXT person. So again, 3 out of 4. And it's like,
wait, hold on. Did you say Brinley Reese is an NXT person? Okay, sure.
Yes.
Continue.
So beyond that, it's like you have Alicia Edwards.
I like Danny Luna.
I like Danny Luna too, but she was in that abysmal women's tag team title.
Hey man, Masha was in there for a long time. It just takes an opportunity.
Yeah, look, make it sucking that women's tag title division.
Yeah, I don't blame the people.
I know Kylan King's on the shelf, and I think there's a lot of potential with her.
Kylan King.
Lei Ying Lee, the former Zia Lee. Maybe there's something. I'm not confident yet, though, if there's truly anything there. But maybe there's something there. Savannah Evans is still in this company, I guess. What's that?
They need more women on their roster.
Yeah, especially top tier women. I think they have they have a lot of low mid card people, but it's like a little weird enough. It's like a New Japan issue where it's like they're about to lose Jordan Grace. They don't have anything else beyond, like, Masha Slamovich is easily going to be the best woman on the roster. They do not have anyone underneath that would make Masha's reign be anything worthwhile to watch.
I don't want to continue to beat the old drum that I have long given up on. But I feel like if there's any company right now that might appeal to this woman who continues to confuse the shit out of me,
I know exactly what you're about to say.
TNA should probably reach out to Megan Bayne. Because listen, I don't know how, I don't know what I have to do to get this woman into a company that I'm going to watch. Because I'll see like her have a highlight from GCW that someone posts, and someone goes like, "How is she not signed to WWE or AEW?" I'm like, it's got to be her choice by now, folks, because she's way too good. She's someone to build around type thing. Like,
and look, if she wants to hang out with her boyfriend, sign Janela too. I mean, why not?
I mean, TNA can sign Janela without a doubt.
Yeah, that's not, like I think honestly, Janela would be a fine addition to this roster.
Yeah, I don't like Joey Janela, but listen. I don't like Joey Janela at all. Never have liked the Joey Janela in the match. That being said, if it gets you Megan Bayne, worth it. Because truthfully, there's worse wrestlers on this roster than Joey Janela. But, like, oh my God, I'm just trying to get Megan Bayne is somewhere. Megan Bayne versus Masha Slamovich moves me tremendously.
Yeah. Agreed.
I just want, I haven't given up hope. I have actually. I've given up complete hope. Because there were so many opportunities throughout this year, and she's just, she's still in GCW only and like other indies. But like, I don't know. I've watched enough Megan Bayne matches to know she would thrive if she takes the opportunity. And listen, TNA, you do the tapings and then you can do whatever you want. Feels like the good gig for her.
Yeah. And the TNA also allows, like, is super open with independent contracted dates. So it's like, you're going to be fine as long as you can. I guess the problem really, well, here's the thing. The problem really is that GCW only works weekends and TNA works weekends. Not every weekend like GCW, but when they film on tapings, they're the next day. They're probably filming them tonight, right? And the pay-per-views are on Saturday, right? So it's like, if she wants, so you can work GCW 3 out of the 4, weeks of the month, but you're going to have to miss some because of TNA tapings, right?
I find that to be okay.
I think that's okay too. But I wonder if that's a problem because beyond Megan Bayne, beyond Joey Janela, there are, like, I think, solid enough talent in GCW where you can take some people. I think Mance Warner is pretty good. So why don't people pick up Mance Warner? Why not?
This is my last plead, okay, with Megan Bayne. Please. You are very talented. I watched you a year ago tear it up in Stardom, and you came back. So many people were excited to see what you did, and then nothing. Like,
also, by the way, I went on a whole rant of like GCW's schedule might conflict. Who is a champion in GCW? I guess technically JCW, but Masha Slamovich. They can easily pick up Megan Bayne. And if they want to take Joey Janela because Megan Bayne wants to hang out with Joey Janela all day, like Shinsuke wants to hang out with a surfboard, then sure. Then sure. Take Joey Janela. I think he actually would be serviceable for this roster. But it is Mike Bailey works a bunch of GCW dates too. So it's one of those things of like there's no real reason not other than their own those talents don't want him to do it.
Connor in the chat said recommended J-Rod. I agree with that one. That's a good one. J-Rod is good a few times. I've seen her.
I don't know if I've seen J-Rod.
J-Rod did a ROH show once upon a time, and maybe against Athena? I don't know. But I've seen her a few times. She's pretty good.
Who's that girl in West Coast Pro? I think she worked like a US Stardom show or something that I was super impressed with.
Oh
yeah, J-Rod. I've seen J-Rod before. She's like
Renee. Is it Cameron Burnett? Is that who you meant?
No, it wasn't Cameron Burnett.
Mariah May?
No, she is not impressing. She's not impressing in AEW. What is it? Keystone State? That's the show. We're gonna pause the entire show until we figure this out. Keystone State.
I'm there. I'm looking right now. Willow Nightingale?
No.
Cameron Burnett. That's the only other name.
Maybe it wasn't
Zaya Brookside.
No, maybe it wasn't this. Maybe it
wasn't Stephanie Vaquer.
Was it Tokyo Joshi Pro? Maybe that's the thing she worked. There was someone from West Coast. I'm gonna look up West Coast.
Zara Zahir.
Yeah, that's who it is.
Yeah, she's very good.
I think she's really solid too.
She's very good. Yeah.
So yeah, there's
GCW just picked her, funny enough, for the first time.
Oh, interesting. I think she is good. There are good enough talents out there. The problem is also, to be fair though, we're talking about like top talents leaving, and with Jordan gone, and she's gonna have to put over more of the undercard to try to elevate them a little bit more. What TNA really does need is somebody on an equal plane to Masha, like a Megan Bayne, or somebody from an AEW WWE bouncing down to a TNA, and not Dana Brooke, but somebody of actual substantial wrestling ability.
What about, and I think this could work, because again, 1 week in a year. or month, not a year. That'd be crazy. What about Alex Windsor?
Fine. Yeah, I think that's a good choice.
Fly her in, do the one weekend, then she can go back to the UK, you know?
AEW's not signing her to contract.
No. And I don't think she wants to leave the UK right now. So
yeah. So come in. Danny Luna, for instance. Actually, I don't know if she lives in America, but she's from England. She can hop on the flight with Alex Windsor.
She's always on UK shows, so I'm assuming Danny Luna is still based in the UK.
Yeah. But fly over Alex Windsor.
That's what we're saying. There's options.
Mm-hmm.
To the TNA folks, book new people. I understand you have like this couple NXT people coming. Yeah, it's cool. You get Sol Ruka and what would you say?
Brindley Reese and
I don't know who that is. I know who Sol Ruka is. I don't know who Brindley Reese is. Like that's great and all. Keep doing that because it's freshness on your shows and whatnot.
Girl with the katana.
But sign people. Carmen Petrovic, you're welcome. Listen, I've been watching NXT lately. The women's division is pretty good. Everything else, not so much.
This is something that look at all the talent that TNA is bringing in, or asking, or however that relationship is working. Let's just say the talent that TNA is bringing in from NXT.
Sure,
it's all women, right?
It's
all women wrestling. Has a single male wrestler gone to
Wesley for a little bit?
Was he in? Oh, for a hot second it was Wesley at the very beginning.
And then they did Charlie Dempsey.
Yep, they did Charlie Dempsey. Well. Yeah. They did a bunch of those guys early on.
They should bring in Tavion Heights.
Oh no, Tavion Heights was brought in for that Charlie Dempsey.
I mean more though. Tavion Heights had a good Noah run, and now he's just a guy again.
But we're getting a lot of the women right now, and
which is good.
Which is fine. Well, not Wendy Chu, but it's fine. It's just one of those things of I would like. I don't know. We just need to sign more. We just need to sign higher tier talent.
Give me Masha Slamovich versus looks at NXT roster.
All right. Pull up the old WWE NXT roster page.
Hold on. I'm over there. I'm in there. There's so many things you have to click. There's so many things you have to click to get there. Oh my god.
Bit for us.
Give me Masha Slamovich versus I don't know who those people are. Give me Masha nope. No. JC Jane.
Adriana Rizzo.
Okay. No, see, I'm being serious. You're just naming people.
Carly Bright.
Makeup set of war is still on here.
Lola
Vice. No. I legitimately do. No, she's hurt. Do Lola Vice. Do someone like that. Someone that people know, and Stephanie Ricker's on here. This is crazy. Oh my god.
Izzy Dame.
Thea Hale. You're just naming people, man. I'm thinking of real bookies here, and you're just
Kendall Gray.
Checks notes.
Kendall, I know that. By the way, Kendall Gray, 100% a porn star's name.
You know who they're gonna get? They're gonna get Nikita Lyons, and I'm gonna shut everything off. Just give up. Whatever.
People will be excited about that. Stevie Turner.
Can we finish this review? I don't want to talk about TNA anymore.
Well, there we go. All right. I guess we'll just continue moving up since that's the path we're already going. Mike Santana defeats Moose, 13 minutes and 48 seconds. We kind of already talked about Mike Santana, but I thought this match was good. Solid work from Santana. Moose, again, I think he's just a solid hand in TNA at this point, and I don't think he's a great wrestler. Don't think he's a bad wrestler anymore. I just think he is a solid wrestler that sometimes gets over pushed because of that. But Mike Santana seems like the guy that they are pushing. I actually want to look up to see.
He's not a good wrestler. He's not a bad wrestler. He's a wrestler.
I wonder. Let me see how his stats are here for Mike Santana in TNA. Let me match statistics. That's what I want to see by promotion.
Carry on my wayward son.
In TNA, he is 56 wins, 26 losses. It seems like he is being pushed, right? So I would like to see what they do with Mike Santana. It's just a matter of what are they going to do with Mike Santana. What do you think of this match? If you have any more thoughts about it.
It was good.
Mm-hmm.
That is it. I already got my Mike Santana stuff out,
Yeah, I'm trying to see. When was the last match that Mike Santana has lost? Also, I believe part of this thing is that he is beaten every member of the system, I think is what the gimmick is as well. He had a Texas death match against JDC Fandango. What? Excuse me? Last match he lost was a DQ by JDC, but before that, count out by Frankie Kazarian. What was the last time he got pinned? He hasn't gotten pinned in his entire time back in the company.
Good.
It has been a no contest, a DQ, a count out, and another.
So there's an argument that he's being pushed.
Good. Oh, sorry. He has been pinned by Moose previously, but now he just got the win back.
I'm sure there was like distraction or something.
Oh, sure. But the idea remains the same. I think he is honestly being pushed, and honestly, he is fucking being pushed. It's just a matter of time. I'm really cursing up a storm today.
Yeah, you're worse than me. I don't even know if I've said a curse yet.
No, you're clean on Magigo. That's not a phrase. Anyways, TNA Digital Media title match and
I didn't watch this
title match and Monsters Ball match. PCO defeats Matt Cardona. I can tell you right now, Scotty, you don't need to watch it. You'd like to take a guess of what my rating was?
2.25.
No, lower.
1.5.
Lower, very close, but lower.
1.25.
1.25. I do like me some PCO diving to the outside into nothing bumps. I can't deny that. But this match sucked ass.
I'm just here for your Matt Cardona take, by the way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I think this is the worst match on the show. This was, to me, the worst match on the show. Worse than the women's tag team match that I've already said constantly sucked. Worse than the main event. Worse than the world title match. This was the worst match
on the show, huh?
Hell of a show. Worst match on it. PCO, you've seen him work a billion times. Now, granted, like I said, I still love PCO diving to the outside, doing a somersault, and landing on nothing. Always still impressive. But Matt Cardona is so lazy, and every spot of hardcore wrestling this match was so obvious, like setting up a table, and then setting up a table, then they fight to the outside and they go back inside. And what does Matt Cardona do? He gets away by going into the exact corner where the table is horizontally or perpendicular, or I guess parallel to where he set up, so that PCO can do some punches. Oh, but guess what? Powerbomb. Like, it's just like so much of those like lazy ass spots. Like I talked about the main event having a lazy, contrived like splash from the outside from Ace Austin into Brian Myers on the outside. Imagine if that was an entire match. That would be this match. And my take here, and maybe if people saw the Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling event with Bully Ray and Raj Desi, maybe they will think this take is too far out there. I think Matt Cardona is a worse version of Bully Ray.
Like, you mean peak Bully Ray or current Bully Ray?
Current Bully Ray.
Holy shit.
Because I think he does everything Bully Ray does, but to less heat. Because one thing about Bully Ray is that he does get boos, and I will give him that. But it's basically the exact same wrestling style, and it's more boring than Bully Ray. That is how bad Matt Cardona is right now. It is so lazy. It is so not lack of creativity. This guy had one great match against Nick Cage and has been riding that high for almost 5 years now. We're coming up on 5 years of that match, and he's been riding that high, and his creativity levels have dropped so significantly. He is horrendous, Scotty.
Next match.
Match.
I have nothing to follow up on. I think you got your point across.
Waste of time. Don't even bother. I would rather see the Raj Desi Bully Ray match because I imagine that match had at least had the crowd jumping up, booing Bully Ray constantly. This match had the crowd on their hands. One part of this match is just Matt Cardona picking up thumbtacks and pressing them into PCO's face. And he only did it like twice, and only one of them stuck. It's like, what this is boring. This is lifeless. This is not existent wrestling. Do you think I buried the guy enough?
I think you got there. Yeah, no, I think you got there.
It feels like you're pulling your collar, like, yeesh.
I'm more like, I don't want to talk about TNA. Like I was done 20 minutes ago, but I realized we only got through 3 matches. But
yeah. I'm just fully done with Matt Cardona. I don't give a shit.
I think it's a valid take.
Yeah.
I think I think it's valid. I think he gets paid a lot, and he knows he doesn't have to do anything. So,
and also, I want to stop hearing about this guy talking about like, I'm shocked I haven't gotten any calls from WWE and AEW. It's like, shut up, dude. Shut up. I get like he has nothing more to do right now, and this is just what it is. And he hasn't figured out a way to change anything. And that's fine.
He's never been a good wrestler.
No.
So
this guy's never been Misawa. This guy is no.
Why do you keep going to Misawa? You keep going to an all-time wrestler. This guy has never been like, I don't know.
Vikingo?
This guy's never been fucking Tajiri. And you want to keep going to Misawa. Like, come on. We're just going to name like good, Japanese wrestlers. Like, Tajiri was good at one time.
This guy's no Ice Train. This guy's no. Let's just give it like a super random. This guy's no James Ellsworth, because at least James Ellsworth had a crowd into him.
I mean, we had this whole thing about Zack Ryder earlier. We can't just act like this guy wasn't over.
Yeah, he was, but the problem is
13 years ago.
Yeah. The problem is that he's not that anymore, and he's been riding high on the same gimmick for several years now. And look, it may work for the GCW crowds, and Hammerstein Ballroom may be he might be burning down the house at Hammerstein in January, but it is so lifeless watching this guy wrestle right now. It is frustrating.
Next,
Josh Alexander defeats Steve Macklin by referee's decision.
This was fine.
A fine, good match. I thought maybe. What did I go? I think I went 2 3/4. No, I went 3 1/4. I would have gone higher probably, but the thing that broke me was that the referee couldn't DQ Josh Alexander because he didn't see who zip-tied Steve Macklin's hands behind his back. Scotty, if I turn around and Steve Macklin's hands are behind his back, and the only person I see is Josh Alexander, I would have to think that Josh Alexander or an associate of him might have caused this. And in no way
go again using reasoning.
Put his own zip ties on his own arms. Just incredibly dumb logic. Doesn't make any sense.
Need to stop using reasoning. That's where you get in trouble.
Is it too much?
Yeah,
for clearly in modern American wrestling.
Yeah, it is. It is. No, you know why it's too much to ask? You want to talk about things that don't make. You know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to bring the AW rant. I'm not. Just move on.
I will say though, there's one last bit: is the lack of logic is extremely mind-numbing. However, it leads to a cool spot where Steve Macklin does a running dive to Josh Alexander with his arms tied behind his back, a la Darby Allin. I would just say that Darby Allin has a more smart way of getting to that spot than Steve Macklin, Josh Alexander. TNA Knockouts World.
You already said it sucked.
It sucked. Danny Luna, Jonah Threat defeat Rosemary, Wendy Chu. I went 1 3/4. The post match is Rosemary breaks up with Wendy Chu and then kisses her on the forehead, and that's it. And they break up. Heartbreak. I know you're upset, Scotty. I know you're
Rosemary.
travesty.
Very highly rated wrestler on Cage Match.
We don't even have enough time for me to talk about how Rosemary is given an 8.55 on Cage Match. She is rated higher than Masahiro Chono on Cage Match.
Right, okay, folks. Behind the curtain here for a second. Ryan was losing his freaking mind at how many people Rosemary was either ranked evenly with or higher than.
He is ranked evenly with Roddy Piper.
When Ryan got to Masahiro Chono, I think he blew a gasket.
She is rated higher than Chono. I was like, are you Mr. G1? Are you kidding me? Rosemary. Probably one of the worst.
She had a lot of votes. She had over 100.
Yeah, probably one of the worst American women's wrestlers today. Probably one of the worst assigned wrestlers, but Killer Kelly is thankfully not around. So I'm fine.
Man. Oh, God.
And the opening of the show was Mike Bailey defeats El Hijo del Vikingo. I thought this match was great. What did you think of it, Scotty?
Yeah, it was really good. Listen, here's the thing. I am not a big Vikingo fan. But I was impressed at how good he was post-injury. Because it's been very soon. I feel like I've seen every spot he's done 10 times over.
What I do
that destroyer on the apron, that was so clean and so perfectly well done. I was like, I was like, is he okay? Obviously he was fine, but I was like, that was like perfect. So that was good. This was second best match of the night, easily for me.
Yep.
And
I like Mike Bailey's new sort of hard nose style, more technical wrestling that he's been developing.
Yeah.
And I do like, to that point of we've seen everything that Vikingo's done, pretty much. I do like that because of the knee injury, he has added that element to his matches.
Yeah. Okay. So I've gone down the cage match rabbit hole. Just
oh, no. Scotty, don't do it, buddy. You're gonna get lost.
So Rosemary is 0.03 behind Mercedes Moné.
Yeah. She is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
She's 0.04 behind Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
She's also 0.03 behind Lioness Asuka, one half of the Crush Gals, as well as Natsupoi.
Okay, hold on. Here's a game.
0.02 behind John Moxley.
Do you think Rosemary has a higher or lower cage match score than Masha Slamovich?
Higher.
Again, Rosemary has an 8.5. So you think Rosemary is her 8.5 is higher than Masha Slamovich?
Yeah.
Incorrect, actually. Masha Slamovich is an 8.56.
Wow. Good for her.
Do you think Rosemary is higher or lower than Jordan Grace?
Higher.
I think Rosemary's higher than Jordan Grace. That would be correct. Jordan Grace, 7.77.
So Rosemary's a 8.55. Rob Van Dam's an 8.39.
Revolutionary wrestler. All time.
Rob Van Dam, specifically, like very okay. Let's just move on.
Everything's fine. This is also why we need
She's higher than Bailey. Oh my god. Bianca Belair.
It's insane. It is insane how high she's rated on Cage Match. Bianca Belair. Rosemary, the Joe Hendry of the women's division. I'm here to say it.
Jesus Christ.
Does she have a higher rating than Joe Hendry? Hold on.
Yes.
What does Joe Hendry have? Is it
Randy Orton?
What is Joe Hendry? Joe Hendry is an 8.04. Still way too high.
Well, to be fair, Chris Sabin. Dude.
It's upsetting. It's upsetting. Truly upsetting. What does Killer Kelly have? Well, let's speak on this train.
I don't care.
I care.
I don't care.
A 7.43, still too high, but Jesus Christ.
God. Saya Kamatani. I'm gonna kill myself.
I think Ben can be one in the chat. Why do you need to bring this up? It's very upsetting. What do you think I felt? What do you think I felt when I discovered this?
Diamond Dallas Page.
Oh man, it's just the system's broken.
John Cena.
All right, we gotta move on. Let's talk about Samantha Irvin.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Speaking about people that are overrated, Samantha Irvin.
Wow. Cody Rhodes. Mystico. Oh, get me out of here. I'm deleting this. I'm about to crash out. Holy.
Okay. All right. We're a professional program. You're still looking at it. I know for a fact you're still looking at it, Scotty. This should be our new wrestling game that we can invent. Does this famous all-time legendary? Oh no, we can do that for the Hall of Fame this year. Does this Hall of Fame wrestler higher or lower of a cage match rating than TNA's Rosemary?
Oh. All right, I'm good.
Who got in last year? Blue Panther. Is Blue Panther rated higher or lower than Rosemary?
I don't know. I'm not looking. We'll just move on. Samantha Irvin's God. She hated announcing.
Yeah, so Samantha Irvin has left WWE. The idea is that she's going to focus on music is her apparent it was announced on Monday that she left WWE, and also Monday that the replacement ring announcer is going to be Lillian Garcia.
Oh my God.
WWE will have you to believe that, of course, Samantha Irvin left on her day of the show and left them high and dry. And, lucky enough for them, Lillian Garcia was waiting around and carrying for some reason so that she could sub in last second, fully unprepared, with no notes or whatever, to prepare for this show.
She said the number one containers match.
Yes.
Container.
But she's new. She came in last second. So you got to give her,
But she didn't. They knew this. They knew this was happening.
Yes. Because according to Samantha Irvin, this has been her contract has been up for months. She said that she was planning to, they knew about this for months that she was planning on leaving unless they would allow her more freedoms to do what she sort of wanted, which was pursue a music career and more outside projects. WWE wouldn't acquiesce, so Samantha Irvin decided that she would leave. Plus, as she noted in other things, with Ricochet and AEW, they're making good enough money that she does feel comfortable doing this as well. She also stated in various Instagram comments that she didn't like ring announcing, that she really did not like doing it. She only saw it as a pathway to move forward, and instead, she wanted to become a manager, maybe a general manager for the WWE brand, but that never happened. Instead, she got popular on TikTok. WWE liked those TikTok views and wanted to keep having Samantha Irvin. And all of a sudden, the all-time ring announcer for WWE, or as the internet will have you to believe, has left. And everyone now also weirdly blames Ricochet and blames Tony Khan, and she's going to AEW, that sort of thing. Because
my friend texted me because he likes Samantha Irvin, and he said I never hated Ricochet more, and I was like, I don't think it was his fault, but all right.
Yeah, there is no
my friend, mind you, who only watches pay-per-views of any company, by the way.
Yes. Now she can totally go to AEW, right? I mean, I think that's totally on the possibility.
Deal that says no. Yeah.
But Ricochet has also tweeted out saying, and I quote, haha, she's not coming to AEW. You can all rest easy. And as Dave Meltzer puts it, Irving's not planning on going to AEW, not saying 100% that she won't go. So Yeah, there's always it's wrestling. The door's always open for her to go to AEW. She can't go with her name, Samantha Irvin, because WWE has that trademarked. So she would have to come up with a different name. But
probably like her name.
Yeah. What's her shoot name? Let's see. Samantha Irvin. Let's see. What did she have? Samantha Johnson is her shoot name. So the belief is that Samantha Johnson will be pursuing the music career following her departure from WWE.
Good for her. Chase your dreams.
Especially if you didn't like the job. Like people tweet out like,
amen to that.
It sucks. I've had this conversation with my wife a lot because my wife was struggling. We both work in the film industry, and she was a PA for a lot longer than she liked. A PA being like the lowest rung on the film charts. And there was a long while where she felt she was super stuck being a PA in the film world. And she had the feeling that the problem was, and she got this told to her once or twice, that the problem is that she's so good as a PA, people keep wanting to hire her as a PA. And so she like couldn't go up the ladder. And it's one of those things of, it sucks to be so good at your job that you can't leave it, even if you don't like it. And she decided, and I think Ricochet leaving maybe WWE opened that thought possibility to her, or maybe cemented it at the very least for her. And maybe if you want to blame Ricochet, maybe that's the way to do it. But I think that's even unreasonable. But even then, she's now gone from WWE. And I agree. I think that's good for her. If this is something that she wants to pursue, I think if people are truly fans of Samantha Irvin, I think they should respect her decision, not blame outside forces like a bunch of dumbasses they are, and instead support her musical journey, like listening to her music when she eventually puts out an album.
Listen, we've all had jobs that we don't like. So that alone was like, go chase your dreams, like,
yeah,
you did a great job in a job you didn't like. You did, she did a good job, and obviously she got very popular. You would have thought people like you would have.
The internet explodes, is what I get.
Yeah, like the reaction was crazy to me, just because like I get there. So there's two sides to it. Like, one, it's nice that this woman who was not a wrestler, she was, she was a ring announcer and people loved her. Like, that's great. But there's also the other side where like it got so extreme to the point where I was like, why is this such, like, good for her? Like, if she wants to move on, that's fine. Yeah. I don't know. Didn't affect me. Okay? Like, it didn't affect me at all. I was like, cool. Ride off into the sunset. Go sing. Go chase your dreams. I don't know. I didn't think it was that big of a deal.
Yeah, her life has always been surrounding music. At the age of wrestling. Look at her Wikipedia page. The age of 4 began studying classical music and going on to compete in classical flute at a national level. At the age of 4, she was in many plays. She won a gold medal for the International Association of Jazz Educators State Jazz Finals as part of the jazz choir. She auditioned twice for American Idol. She auditioned for America's Got Talent when she was 20. She was the lead female vocalist on the Michael Jackson tribute show Thriller Live. I can go on and on. She's done a bunch of stuff with music. And I think the thing is that all of a sudden she garnered so much praise as a ring announcer, so much love as a ring announcer. I think a lot of it has to do with the new fan base of WWE. I think it's a little overblown. I think she's a little overrated than how people are calling her. People calling her the best ring announcer of all time, I think, is a little much. I think ultimately what really makes her stand out is her emotion that she brings to her ring announcing. I personally don't want that in my ring announcing. If people do, that's fair game to them. That's their opinion. But I don't want like the Cody Rhodes thing is obviously the one I'm drawing here. Is I don't want your vocal break and all this sort of stuff because you're crying over the person getting the win. I don't want that. I prefer someone that is, black and white, just calling it how it is.
Yeah, you like boring. She's from Massachusetts. Oh, never mind. I got to cheer for her. You're wrong, Ryan. Screw you, buddy.
She's the best in the world. It's just like the I get people loving her, and that's fine. I wasn't a huge fan of hers, but just the explosion of of people like coming after Ricochet and AEW and then WWE knowing that fans won't like it, try to put the heat on Samantha Irvin by getting Mike Johnson to report that she left hours before Raw. Like stuff like that is just like, how can people support WWE when like everyone loves Samantha Irvin and she didn't want to leave and they wouldn't let her do music outside of wrestling, that she could only do wrestling for them, and do all these TikToks where she gets emotional or has emotions, right? It's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's frustrating to see. I don't know. I'm just mad. I'm just mad of WWE fans on Twitter. I hate going on Twitter and
it helps you care way more than I do. I didn't care then. I don't care now, but she's from Massachusetts, so obviously Ryan's wrong. Things that I learned with a quick Google search because I didn't care to Google search earlier in the week. Like I said, I just wish her the best. I don't care about, I think like she had her own way to ring announcing. Either you liked it or hated it.
Yeah.
I don't hate. Listen, for someone who hated their job, she tried to make it different. So good for her. You know what? I also have hated jobs. So good.
Yeah, I have an insane amount of respect for her.
Ultimately. Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I'm not dogging on her ring announcing ability. I'm not dogging on all this sort of stuff because I have an insane amount of respect for her right now. She stayed on a job that she hated to do. She left because she wanted to support her dream and move on with her dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how can you not?
The fans.
How can you not respect?
Always the fans.
You have fans out there being blame Ricochet or Tony Khan. This is all Tony Khan's the fucking fault.
Hear me out here, folks. Tony Khan has other faults that you can come up with, not this one.
Mm-hmm. Did you see that tweet thread of
apparently watch Dynamite? Dynamite was bad. That's Tony Khan's fault.
I don't think Dynamite was that bad.
Chris Jericho won a title.
Yeah, I mean, I knew the moment that happened that you were going to say that Dynamite. Because of that,
I don't like watching AEW Dynamite.
You say it every week, Scotty.
I'm saying it again.
I get it. We get it. You don't like Chris Jericho, but I'm not going to let my Chris Jericho distaste ruin the entire episode for me.
That didn't ruin the entire episode to me. I thought it was really boring.
I liked it. Interesting.
Because you're a freakazoid and I'm not.
That's pretty much where it comes down to. I was going to say, did you see the sort of thing that's hopping around Twitter of there's a guy that like his whole YouTube career was just a bunch of videos talking about how AEW sucks. And then the last one saying like, I'm not making videos anymore. Wrestling isn't fun anymore. Like,
he's ruining his relationship with his family or something.
Yeah. He's like, the video, I watched the video. The video starts with him being like, yeah, so what happened was that I got in a fight with my significant other, basically because
Tony Khan sucks.
No, it's like they think that I'm spending too much time on the wrestling stuff and I'm not spending enough time with my son. It's like, Jesus Christ, dude. Oh my God. Like, I get it. Like, kids are probably going to take a lot of time, but like, you got to recognize that these sort of like are hobbies, right? Like, one of the reasons I pitched us many moons ago to have Ring Post Radio on Sundays so that I could have the rest of the week and some time to myself so that especially eventually when I have kids, Scotty, Sunday mornings, hopefully they're asleep or at least Jesse's here to help take care of them and I can keep doing the show and whatnot. Like I get kids getting in the way, but like, come on. When kids get in the way and I have a kid, I'm probably going to back off on Patreon content for sure. But like, it's insane that like people are like batting at bat for WWE and dunking on AEW to the point where it's hurting their relationship with their significant other and their son.
Here's my take. Not the week to be at bat for WWE.
Yeah, that's a great transition, Scotty. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
As we transition to a Rolling Stone, well, I guess not Rolling Stone, but a new lawsuit has been levied against the WWE. It was filed. It was regarding the 1992 Ring Boys scandal, which, of course, was regarding Tom Cole, one of the Ring Boys at the time, and the ring announcer for WWF, Mel Phillips. This was a new lawsuit from the law firm of DeCelio, Levitt, and Murphy, Falcon, and Murphy. Falcon, if that's someone's last name, that's cool as hell. Filed a lawsuit on October 23rd, representing 5 unnamed plaintiffs, previously unknown plaintiffs. Obviously, the Ring Boy scandal has always been involved.
I have a Falcon story for you.
What's that?
I have a Falcon story for you if you want one.
Put a weird pin right there. But obviously the Ring Boy scandal has always been about Tom Cole and Mel Phillips. This lawsuit says that we have 5 John Doe's unnamed plaintiffs who claim that they were all sexually abused in the 1980s by Mel Phillips. And the lawsuit is against WWE via, TK Holdings, Vince McMahon, and Linda McMahon. Why are Vince and Linda McMahon a part of this? And why is WWE TK Holdings a part of this? Is because they are also, similarly to the Janelle Grant lawsuit, claiming negligence from the company, knowing that there are issues of things happening and deciding actively not to do anything about it. These things are also known already regarding the Ring Boy scandal with Tom Cole, that Mel Phillips was at one time fired by Vince McMahon and hired back. And what did Vince McMahon and Linda tell Mel Phillips to do, was stop hanging around the boys, those little boys. We have quotes of them saying that, they basically knew about this. The lawsuit goes into way more detail. Each of the 5 John Does in the timeline of Mel Phillips, incredibly gross detail. Basically, it starts as more of a foot fetish sort of sexualization of stuff like that, to the point where you start getting to like rape accusations and these sort of things. Like as time progresses, because Vince and Linda threw their hands up and just let Mel be Mel, I guess. Mel got away with more and more things in his depraved mindset towards these young ring boys. And when we say ring boys, this isn't just the title. These are, I don't know, teenagers, I guess you would say. At least
13 and 14.
Yeah. These are kids. So this is pedophilia that we're talking about. And Vince McMahon and Linda actively ignoring it, to the point where the lawsuit also states, I didn't actually read the lawsuit or look into it, but I do know about that Rolling Stones article that got put out by David Bixespan, really good, that WWE did in fact have photos and video evidence of Mel Phillips interacting with some of these ring boys. So I think this is a pretty shut and close case, in my opinion. But Scotty, what do you have any thoughts regarding this new lawsuit against WWE, Vince, and Linda McMahon?
It's just the continuation of the past year, talking about Vince McMahon and company. The company is rotten and was rotten to the core for a very, very, very long time. When the Janelle Grant stuff came out, I think the continuous reaction was, this isn't new. This is just the continuation of so many bad things that Vince and his company have done through the years. Reading through the details and here, just listening to people talk about it, it's really sad to know that, again, this is a pro wrestling company where some of these kids came in to try to meet their favorite wrestlers and things like that, and
or learn more about the industry.
Right.
Up into it.
And this is what happened. It's just disgusting. And I feel like a broken record at this point talking about Vince and whatnot, but the man deserves to rot in hell. He should be rotting in a prison cell as well. I'm sure he won't, but he should be. I'm gonna guess that this goes to a settlement of some sort, a big money settlement, because I'm sure TKO at this point just wants to push everything away and under the rug because we are in the Paul Levesque era and things like that. But yeah, it's really sad. It's just really, really sad every time one of these things come out. But after all these years, I'm happy they can put a lawsuit together, because certain laws and whatnot. If I remember listening to Dave correctly, like there was some changes in law that allowed this to now go to a lawsuit?
In 2023, my home state of Maryland passed the Child Victims Act, which eliminated the statute of limitations on child sex abuse lawsuits. So that reopened, well, not reopened, but that allowed this these people to come forward and create a lawsuit against WWE.
Yeah. And the timing, of course, comes right after the McMahon Netflix series. So
plus the Janelle Grant stuff as well.
Yeah,
I have to imagine, it's one of these questions is like when one person steps forward, more people feel more comfortable stepping forward. At least that's the hope. I wonder if that plays a part. Obviously, these boys are unnamed. These men, I should say now, are unnamed. But
they should stay unnamed.
They should. It's frustrating.
Let them live their life.
It's frustrating that Janelle's Grant got put out there. But yeah, other details of the suit, just real quickly. Suit claimed Phillips targeted children from broken homes, sexually assaulted them in arenas WWF booked and also in hotel rooms. The lawsuit claims the defendants, the McMahons and TKO, WWE, WF at the time, were fully aware of the systemic and pervasive abuse and did nothing to stop it. Obviously, they fired him, but they brought him back. The suit claimed an FBI investigation identified at least 10 ring boys abused by Phillips, although no charges were ever filed until now. Phillips passed away in 2012. The other thing about this, what is interesting to me, I'm just seeing in the chat, Ben can be one putting in here that he'll be dead before his trial is over. And that may be true about Vince McMahon, but the good thing about this is that WWE is also a part of this lawsuit. Same thing with the Janelle Grant lawsuit is that these companies, whether or not, Vince McMahon deserves to die and deserves to rot in hell and rot in prison and have a very uncomfortable life for the rest of his life for all these sort of things. And whether or not he dies before this, I guess we'll find out. But, there needs to be some accountability and some help for these other people. And WWE is responsible for that, in my opinion, at the very least, financially, probably. Well, Vince as well, I guess. Well, Vince, his responsibility is he should rot in hell and jail and all these sort of places. So I have big thoughts about that. The other thing I did want to mention here as well is that this is a brand new lawsuit, and there is the sort of element of connectivity to the Janelle Grant lawsuit in terms of a culture that WWE is representing. The two lawsuits almost help each other in that sense, where they both showcase that WWE has a tendency to create a culture of sexual abuse, right? Both in the 1980s with Mel Phillips and in the 2010s, 2020s with Vince McMahon. So the suit sort of helps each other in that way. And then to that end, I am also sort of surprised that the suit does exist and is happening, whereas the Janelle Grant one has been on hold via a federal investigation happening. I wonder if this suit will also get put on hold. Obviously it's just been filed, but I wonder if eventually it will also get put on hold for this federal investigation, or if it will truly remain a separate entity. I don't entirely know that, but I guess that remains to be seen. But yeah, terrible stuff. But I'm glad that people have come forward. And I think that's, again, the respectable thing here is that there are people that are feeling more and more comfortable come forward and talk about these sort of things. I think the Janelle Grant
it's not easy.
It's not easy. It is surely not easy. There are still more people probably out there. If the FBI identified 10 people, this lawsuit only covered 5 of them. So, it's only half of the people seemingly abused by Mel Phillips feel comfortable enough to come forward. Or I guess at the very least are still alive. I don't know if any of them passed away. So we'll see what happens with this. Again, I'm interested to see if it gets put on halt for this federal investigation that's happening. Obviously, there's elements there about, current political landscapes and how voting may go in November that I worry may completely throw out that federal investigation. But again, that remains to be seen. So at the very least, all the other stuff is going to be state stuff. So whatever happens in November, Scotty, won't affect this. Only the federal investigation will be affected. So, terrible stuff happening again in WWE. And in some ways, Scotty, I don't want more lawsuits like this because it's a tough conversation to have every single time. But in a lot of ways, I want more lawsuits like this because I'm sure there are more stories out there, and I want those people if they feel comfortable to not only tell their stories, but to get the justice that they deserve.
Well said.
Yeah. And he also, do we have any thoughts? I don't know if you saw the Twitter thing as well about how, David Bixenspan wrote the article for Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah.
And then the day before, someone on Twitter has put out a anti-David Bixenspan video.
Yeah.
And Dave Meltzer video and
not worth video. Just not worth breath.
Yeah. That guy sucks. I can't believe that person exists and is willing to do all of this stuff. It's very frustrating.
Just talking such a serious topic. You just go, this guy sucks.
Don't. You can't have me laugh about a funny little photo and ruin.
You're going to see that this week, aren't you?
Oh yeah. So update. So we talked about last week about TNA, about the Eye of the Salamander and how I was going to watch that movie as part of our Bound for Glory preview. Turns out that movie is going to limited theaters. The trailer came out. I don't know if you saw the trailer. It's bad. But it is going to limited release theaters this weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, Scotty.
Wow.
You can probably go on Fandango, type in the movie, and see if it's coming anywhere near you. But I can say that it is going in theaters in only one theater near me in Alpharetta, which is about 30 to 45-minute drive from me. So the question remains, do I spend my Friday, Saturday driving up to Alpharetta to watching the Ally of the Salamander? That's the question that I have to face, Scotty. You want Fandango?
You know what? I don't have any near me. Thank God.
Thank God. like it's a plague. It's like, oh, thank God.
So, I don't know. How much do you like this show?
Ring Post Radio or the Eye of the Salamander? I guess we'll find
Ring
out.
Post Radio. That's a movie. This is a show.
I love.
Some might think this is a movie.
We got to get some comments. If the fans want to hear a review of the Eye of the Salamander, I don't want to say fans. We have listeners. The listeners of this program, Ring Post Radio.
We need one comment to say yes.
If they want me to review Eye of the Salamander, then I will spend. My God, it's gotta. How much money do you think? What do you think is a reasonable amount of money to spend on this movie? All right, let's see. How much does the ticket cost?
That's the ticket.
$11. It's gotta be more than that.
Folks, I think Ryan needs to see it anyways for the entertainment value for our show.
What entertainment value?
Because your review is going to be outstanding.
An hour and 21 minutes long. Let's see. If I say 2 p.m. That's like a matinee thing.
Let's be free.
There is one seat already taken somehow. I don't understand how.
Hold on. Let's rethink this. Do you want to go see this movie when you know there's already someone that has bought a ticket a week in advance?
That is what's scary. No.
I would, as long as we don't get a comment, don't go.
Let's see. What about the 4:30 screening in Alpharetta? Let's see if there's anyone attending this screening.
Sold out.
Oh, actually, I don't know. I mean, there's an X here again, but it's in the same exact spot. So I'm wondering if it's an X or because the seat is taken or because there actually is no seat there.
There's actually someone going to both screenings, the exact same person. They want to see it twice.
The 2 p.m. one is $14, not including taxes and anything like that.
Yikes!
Yeah, that's getting eerily close to me having to go.
That's
all right. Speaking of shitty situations, we're ending the show on not a lot of fun stuff, but Saudi Arabia is hosting another WWE Crown Jewel event. This time in Riyadh, because it is in fact Riyadh season, Scotty. How can we forget the great moments of Riyadh season?
Isn't it always Riyadh season?
I don't fucking know, man.
That's another curse from Ryan.
Lay the fuck off, man. I don't fucking. Anyways, Riyadh season upon us. So this Saturday, I don't know what time. I don't care. I'm not going to look it up. I don't care for
We
these
should
Saudi
run the
shows. I think they're a money grab, obviously, by WWE, and I hate that they
You
exist.
think? I know.
Yeah.
There's so many. I don't know if you know this. Obviously WWE started the trend, but there are so many like different sports leagues now that do this.
Yeah. Was it Live Golf is one?
Live Golf's ran by Saudi, but like UFC does it now, which is not shocking.
Seeing who owns WWE.
I think PFL. I think Professional Fight League PFL just did it, which is odd. But they wouldn't probably be open if they didn't. Who else does it? Other people do it. But my point of this is it all sucks. Continue.
AMC apparently has movie theaters, and that's part of this.
Oh, Jesus, this guy's still looking at the Eye of Salamander. Oh my God, we have to finish this.
Yeah, we got to finish the show. So we'll talk about the show here before us. We have a 6-man tag team match. This may or may not be the main event. I truly do not know. Roman Reigns and Jimmy and Jey Uso. Yes, in fact, Yeet and
That's not official yet. You're spoiling people on SmackDown.
Oh, everyone knows it's about to happen.
I didn't know it was actually happening.
Jimmy and Jey Uso, they have reunited, and they're going to take on the Bloodline, Solo Sikoa, Tama Tonga, Tonga Loa, and or Jacob Fatu. I guess at this point in time, we don't know.
There's no way it's going to be Jacob Fatu.
I would love for it to be Jacob Fatu. The wrestling would be so much better. That being said, he did slap a nerve hold on Cody Rhodes in that last tag match, and it wasn't that exciting. So who knows? But yeah, don't know if that's going to be the main event or not. Probably not, but you never know with this company.
I'm going to guess the Crown Jewel Championship will main event.
It makes sense. It makes sense for that to be the case.
The two world champions facing off. It feels like
right.
Have the edge. There's 7 matches on this show. Is Triple H okay?
We'll find out, I guess.
Not a 5-match card? Someone check on him.
I know.
I don't want to be on TV, though.
Any thoughts on the Bloodline versus Bloodline? Sorry, Bloodline,
like
Blood Pack. You like Roman?
I like Roman.
Perfect.
And
you think they're going to get the win? Who's going to get the win? It feels like the heels.
It feels like the heels should win, right? Because we're setting up
war
games.
Yep.
You would think the odds are stacked against them, right? Because they have 4 on their side, and the real Bloodline only has 3 still. So like that's gonna hurt them. They're gonna be like, oh, we need one more, and then longtime Samoan wrestler Sami Zayn will join the fight. Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. It's cool. Roman's good.
Yeah.
What else? What other punchlines can I get in there? OTC.
No eat.
No eat. And I decided this week Solo Sikoa, hilarious wrestler.
I love the promos, by the way, for Roman and everybody, where it's like no eat is like we need everybody. We need everybody, Roman. And Roman just looks at him. No yeet. It's just like dead serious. It's like, come on, man. Can we have a better script? Can we get a better script than this?
I think it's the best.
I like how also they put a bunch of titles on all these guys, and then they took all of them off so that they can have this feud.
Yeah.
To
be fair, I thought the Jey Uso booking was very smart. I don't think the tag belts matter at all. Well, like the Jey Uso booking, he finally wins the singles belt, and they ripped it away from him 3
and put it back on the guy that he won it on too.
See, that's cool with me because I like Braun Breaker. Actually, I did watch the Braun Breaker Jacob Fatu face off.
Yeah.
Very over.
Good vibes.
Very over. Yeah, no, this match should be it won't be that good. Look at the other team. I mean, the other team's really bad.
Also, I just realized that they're gonna do a Jacob Fatu Braun Breaker IC title match at some point, and it's gonna be like Yeet is gonna ruin somehow.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. I was watching the Gorillas of Destiny versus Motor City Machine Guns on Friday Night SmackDown in the main event. What a sentence.
It's 2024.
Crazy. And I was sitting there, I'm like, I'm happy for the Gorillas of Destiny. They said to themselves, oh, wait, you were going to put us in the Bloodline feud? Yeah, we'll take that contract. Thank you. Like, good on them.
Yeah.
They did the right thing. They're not in New Japan anymore, so everyone wins. And yeah, good for them. Good for them. I realized like watching them, I was like, I didn't hate Tangaloa. I just didn't want to watch him wrestle.
Yeah.
And Tama Tonga's whatever.
Yeah, people talking about New Japan having a bad year by losing Okada and Ospreay, but look, they also lost a lot of other people like Tangaloa. And
yeah. Remember
Tonga.
Okada? Remember him?
Oh yeah. Oh, Tonga could show up here, even though they already have the.
Nah, that's NXT's Tonga.
Is he going to be in NXT? Is that the idea?
That was the idea once upon a time, but I mean, Motor City Machine Guns were too. So
who knows? Triple H gets his grubby mitts on it. You never know.
Who knows? Who cares?
WWE Women's Tag Team Title Match, Fatal 4-Way.
Woo!
Hopefully the women here won't be that fatal. Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair defend their titles against Damage Control, Kairi Sane and Io Sky, the team of Chelsea Green and Piper Niven, and the Metaphor, Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson.
Crazy.
Yeah. Next up.
No, I had a take before you so rudely interrupted. So I've been on this like Io kick ever since she, went back to Japan for one day. Great one day. It was a great one day. Never forget
this year.
Very emotional one day. She's just so much better than everyone in this company. Like I'm watching her matches now. I'm like, if she tags in, she does all these little spots. I'm like, she's just so much better, and she doesn't even wrestle at 100%. She's just like, it's like walking through it. But yeah, this is a match. This is a wild match to have on here. I'm sure the champions retain somehow, some way. Who cares?
Yeah, I have no idea.
I like Io to win, but I don't care.
Could be good, could be bad.
Fun fact: a year ago, this is where Kairi returned.
Yeah, that's true. WWE United Championship match. LA Knight versus Andrade versus Carmelo Hayes. Now, look, not a singles match, but we have finally gotten a male African-American wrestler onto a PLE. That being said, I have high doubts that this match was supposed to happen on the show. If you recall,
it's definitely going to happen on SmackDown.
Well, if you recall, they had the whole feud, and then Andrade won it, and then all of a sudden they continue it. And
they were always going 7.
I don't remember a single time advertising it.
They never said it, but they were always going 7.
No, I doubt it.
I know factually they were always going 7.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. I don't know.
They just did it in the most convoluted way because this is WWE.
Okay. I like to live in the conspiracy theory world where they made it a best of 7 so that
their idea was, they win 2, whatever, they get title matches, and then they keep going back and forth, and they're like, we just got to do a 7 because they're now even. It's like, could have just announced that.
Mm-hmm.
and I think the best part of the 7 is the 7th match ended in a no contest.
Yeah, so that they can have a 3-way here.
A 4th title match. LA Knight's already beaten both of these guys in title matches.
But has he beaten both of them at the same time?
No.
So here's the thing. Now with all the controversy surrounding the past couple pay-per-views, is coming to a head last pay-per-view for WWE about having no male African-American wrestlers wrestling on the show, let alone winning.
Mm-hmm.
Carmelo Hayes has to win here, right? Just in terms of optics.
I wouldn't say no.
Mm-hmm.
But this is... Yeah, you know what? They do. Yeah, they do need to make the move. 1, because who cares about LA Knight as champion? 2, yeah, you're right.
They need to do something. Now, granted, the something is 1 African-American wrestler on the show.
Admittedly, as well. Well, male.
Male.
Admittedly, also, I feel like you can't do a 7-match series for it all to pay off and just LA Knight winning over both of them again. Yeah. So, you need to do a title change as well.
And it needs to be Andrade or Carmelo Hayes. And with Hayes being the babyface, it only makes sense for it to be him.
Is Hayes the babyface? I actually don't know.
Over Andrade, I would think so.
I thought Andrade was the babyface.
Maybe they're both sort of like babyface leaning.
Tweener. Isn't LA Knight the babyface?
I don't know, Scotty. I don't know.
Hey, I'm just here to ask the tough questions, which you would think would be an easy one, but we don't know.
So after beating up Cody Rhodes in the back of a parking lot, and Randy Orton, being a mutual friend, has requested a match against each other by Triple H.
No, you missed the angle. No.
What angle?
So he beat Cody Rhodes up in the parking lot. Then he was on SmackDown, and Randy was trying to calm him down, and he accidentally hit Randy, and then Randy punched him back, and then Kevin Owens beat Randy up in a backstage parking lot. And then Randy's like, I want the match. And, Triple H, who doesn't want to be on screen,
cutting a promo in the middle of a ring, opening the show.
Yeah. He was like, I'm trying to protect you. So now we have not a title match, a singles match, which obviously Kevin Owens is going to win. He's going to challenge Cody at Saturday night's main event. You're welcome, everybody. Spoiled everything. Thank you.
So yeah, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens is there.
I like Kevin Owens.
Me too. Do you have any thoughts on that? Also, that Kevin Owens controversy from this week?
What? The contract thing?
Yeah, the contract thing, that there's the rumor going around. Did
we talk about that last week?
Yes, we touched on it, but then it got confirmed, I guess, this week. Not confirmed, but like more heavily speculated that that is, in fact, what WWE was planning on doing, which is using this contract stuff to discredit Dave Meltzer.
Oh yeah, not good on them. I didn't like that. Yeah, no, it sticks. I don't like that.
Yeah,
after
I like the responses being like, WWE didn't have to try to discredit Dave. He's already he discredits himself every day.
Fun fact about this match: 2 wrestlers up for the Observer Hall of Fame. I bet you $100 neither get in this year. This year. I don't mean ever.
Yeah,
definitely not this year.
Special singles match as well. Seth freaking Rollins has returned after getting, I guess, storyline injured away from Bronson Reed.
He was actually injured, to be fair.
Okay, perfect. I guess both storyline and actual.
Yes.
But he wasn't injured during that angle, I believe. So it's Seth freaking Rollins versus Bronson Reed here.
It's big Bronson Reed.
There on Wikipedia, he has no.
Well, they need to fix that. Because I'm looking at the WWE website and it says big.
It's freaking versus big. So who's gonna win between Seth freaking Rollins and a younger Tom Hanks?
I'm sure it'll just be Rollins and then we'll move on.
Yeah, I'm sure as well. Speaking of Rollins, there's also some like Becky news surrounding there. Do you think Becky's gonna return at some point? Is she gonna return at Crown Jewel?
There's Becky news?
Yeah, she's like after taking like her sabbatical. She's like popping up on Twitter again saying like, hey, I have this thing in November. I'm going to talk about my career and the future of it possibly.
I would really like if Becky Lynch came back. Wrestling misses her.
I hope she pops up in like, by the way. I would love, let's just pop her up in Joshi. I want her outside of the system. I don't even care. Pop her up in like Ice Ribbon. Who cares?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Is Ice Ribbon the one that's currently falling apart?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then they need her.
Not currently. They've been falling apart.
Add to her Hall of Fame case by her saving Ice Ribbon.
Saving Ice Ribbon. Yeah, anyway. I need to do that just so I could hear Dave talk about it on next year's Hall of Fame episode.
Yeah.
Well,
no, historically significant. A draw for sure.
They went from 300 in Corkin to a sold-out Corkin in 2 months. And who was that? Because of Becky Lynch.
I don't know which Joshi wrestler could even wrestle against Becky Lynch and have an interesting match here, but sorry, and you're going through your Ice Ribbon roster page.
I mean, the Tsukasa Fujimoto would have to wrestle for anything to be interesting, and she's not wrestling currently, so I'm not. No.
So a part of the show as well is that we're going to have Crown Jewel Championships. Not much is known.
Big ugly ass belt.
Big. I think it's the Mid-South title is what it looks like, if I'm remembering correctly. Big belt. But the idea here is that the 2 champions of each brand. It's kind of like basically you're doing a Survivor Series gimmick from a couple years ago before they changed it to War Games, where they're going to have the two champions face off against each other, and the winner of that will become the Crown Jewel champion. Now, is this a title? Is this a new title that gets defended?
Not.
Is it a title that gets defended every year? Probably not. I think it's probably just a more of a an accolade that you can win.
I bet it's an accolade that's forgotten.
100%.
Not next year, the year after.
What is the title Braun Strowman won?
That's the greatest Royal Rumble championship.
Correctamundo.
Come on.
I think it confuses people calling it a championship. If you just called it like a belt or something. Trophy. Who knows? But for the women, you have Liv Golf Morgan versus Nia Jax, the Raw Women's Champion versus SmackDown WWE Women's Champion. Any thoughts on this match?
Liv Golf Morgan was good. That was good. This match is going to be bad. That's my take.
I agree.
I said to you yesterday.
It's also weird. It's both heels, right?
Yeah. That Masha Slamovich might be the best world champion for women's world champion in America now, because I thought of this match specifically and I said to myself, oh boy.
Yeah, Masha and TNA.
Either her and Mariah.
Yeah, Mariah. You got Mercedes.
She's not a world champion.
Oh, I guess that's fair. Well, yeah, I guess New Japan Strong isn't either. Oof.
It was 4 people to pick from. It wasn't a big list.
That's true. How dare you say that about MLW or
who do you think wins this match? And before you say I don't give a shit, I need you to pick.
I think I would have probably Liv win it. I think that they want to keep the title and Liv for a little bit longer, and I think Nia Jax is probably winding down.
Question.
I think Liv needs an extra oomph. Let
me get some dice. Let me get some dice here. Real question. Rolls the dice. What if Tiffany Stratton cashes in mid-match? Does she win all 3 titles?
An insane possibility.
I hope that happens.
Me too. Yeah, I guess we'll find out if it is in fact Tiffy time for Riyadh season.
Would she actually win all 3 titles?
That'd be awesome. She would have to pin all the 2 at the same time, probably, right?
Why? Well, I guess it's not a title match.
Well, their titles are not up for grabs. Right. Does she cash in and become the women's crown jewel champion? Have we considered that?
While not being a champion.
Yeah, have we considered that? Because that's the title up for grabs here, Scotty.
That's true.
Yeah, but I guess it doesn't have to be a title match. She just automatically makes it a title match.
Yeah, so she can win all 3, right?
If she chooses to put the other 2
she'd be pretty smart to do that.
Yeah. If they get both knocked out at some point, like Rhea Ripley comes out of nowhere, or Raquel Gonzalez comes out of nowhere.
And in the middle of Riyadh season, it goes, it's Tiffy time!
Yay! We will find out.
I like Tiffany Stratton.
Me too. And then the other Crown Jewel Championship is, of course, Gunther versus Cody Rhodes.
You want to hear my take on this?
Yeah.
Should be great.
Yeah, this should legitimately be great. I'm very excited about this match. I've been pitching for this match for months.
Yeah, I really wish it wasn't in Saudi. That's my only sadness of it, but the match itself should be great. I mean, I don't know what else I have to say about these two.
Yeah.
I mean, they had a great match at the end of the Royal Rumble 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that was like a 15-minute great fight where Cody just came back from injury.
Ever since that match, ever since that moment in the Royal Rumble, I've been clamoring to see the match, and now we're finally going to get it, and I'm very excited.
And here's my hot take: Gunther should win.
Ooh, why Gunther?
I think everyone knows Cody's the #1 champion in the company, so if he loses, it won't hurt him.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure there'll be some sort of bullshit. There's always some. We can never just have a match, So, like, I know there'll be a little bullshit to piss me off. But, if it was straight up, I would be fine with just one of them winning. I know everyone's like, well, one of them's going to be the B champion. I'm like, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Who cares? It's just going to be a great match.
Yeah, it's the Survivor Series thing of like which champion should lose, which champion should win.
And I think Gunther should win because I think the plan is him and Punk. I just feel like you want him as strong as possible going into that match. Well, Cody can lose and be strong.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, there's an element of Cody losing, but if he loses, is there fear of him getting any more swallowed up in the bloodline story being the main story?
Buddy, we're way past that.
That's a great point.
The moment Roman walked back in the door, like the Rock. Listen, Roman should be holding the People's Champion belt. Also, the Rock's Christmas movie. I don't know if you've seen this thing. Looks terrible. It's already bombing.
Red One is what it's called.
Yeah, it's already bombing. Projected. Like they paid like $236 million for it. And it's predicted to get like an opening or a weekend of like 39 million or something. Terrible.
Here we go. Do you want internet? You want worldwide or just domestic?
I don't care.
You don't care. What is this? October 25th, 27? I guess they don't have it yet. But let's see.
It's not out yet. They're just projecting it to be an absolute bomb.
When does it come out?
I don't know.
November 10th. So a couple weeks from now.
Yeah, everyone says it looks terrible. The poster looks terrible. Everyone thinks it's going to bomb. And if it bombs, do you know what that means?
250 million.
When it bombs, do you know what that means?
The Rock's going to be back in WWE.
Yep. Because that's what he does. When his movies bomb, he returns to WWE to make everyone like him again.
Well, there's so many problems with this movie. One, they've been working on this movie for years.
This is the movie that he was late to because of WWE this year.
Yep. There's The Rock, who is not the former bankable box office draw that he once was in the movie business. Black Adam really hurt him along with other movies. But Red One, as the lead for Red One, it's not going to work. J.K. Simmons is a good actor, but not as big of a draw. But I don't necessarily think you're not going to see him in the movie too much if the idea is that you're going to kidnap Santa Claus, who is played by J.K.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, but the movie is like he gets kidnapped, so it's like, oh, I'm not going to see J.K. Simmons that much then. Chris Evans, despite being Captain America, is not a movie draw in any capacity, which is extremely frustrating. And beyond all that, you also have negative press surrounding this movie because this was the movie where The Rock where you got that story going around that The Rock pees in bottles in between takes because he's late to set constantly. Now, I will say that might be a one and done thing with The Rock. My wife has been working on a movie starring The Rock for the past several months. For all I know, they've been filming on time. She hasn't heard anything, or at least told me.
It was just when he was running WWE at the same time, right?
No, it was right before he returned to WWE.
Oh.
It was just for whatever reason he was constantly late, and he was just to make up for time was peeing in bottles. The director told him to pee in bottles or something. But that also could just be a one-time story. I have no idea, or the story might not have happened. I have no idea. But the movie's not going to do well, Scotty. The movie is going to bomb.
That's good news for WWE fans.
The only way it can surprisingly do well is that if they advertise it to kids, and I've seen the trailer, and they're not advertising to kids. So I think it's supposed to be like a family movie, but I don't even think the advertising is doing that well.
It's a flop.
It's gonna flop. It's gonna flop.
And much like that, we're done.
Much like that, we are done.
Let's flop on out of here.
Ring Post Radio. Scotty, give us some plugs. Give us some matches of the week. Give us everything you need.
Plug time at Scott E Wrestling on Twitter. I've been tweeting a little bit more this week because I have dove in to the Joshi all-time match guide, which I realize I have not posted. So I am going to post that soon.
Do you want me to give you a link, and I can also put it in the this podcast episode?
Sure. I'll give you a link right now, buddy, old pal. Make sure I hope that's the right one, because there's one that has all these links that I can't share every link, and then there's one that doesn't, and I can share. So
you just said a bunch of stuff that didn't make any sense to me. Continue.
Yeah, you're welcome. Anyways, so I shared that. So yeah, I'm tweeting about that. I've watched 3 matches so far.
This is a match. So this match guide doesn't have any links to it. It's just the matches.
So I have one with links and I have one without links, and some of the links I can't share because I had to pay for things. So, I wanted to, trust me, but I thought smarter of it. So I have 2 different sheets that look exactly the same. Okay. So it's fine. Anyway, if anyone wants a match that they see on there, I can easily help you out and get you the link because they're here, there, and everywhere. If you scroll down my sheet that I have right here, which I can, you know what? Still a little.
Looking at it right now.
Still a little. Yeah, let me show you. Let me show the good folks
at
home.
Up the old screen here. By the way, we've gone surely over 2
hours. I know. This is what we do, Yeah. We say, oh, we have nothing, and then we go further than we've ever done before. Yeah, That's just what we do. All right, here we go. As you can see here, we got links, but they're like YouTube, All Japan.
Oh, that's
class.
That's the one link. That's not the one I'm looking at.
Yeah, this is the one with all the links. But as you can see, it's very similar. It just doesn't have links. Anyways, so if you want to follow my journey of that, I just tweet it. I also just type in hashtag Joshi Rewind if you want to find them all, because that is what I've themed this, which is a lot of fun. I've had a lot of fun. Next match is the beauty pair match where Maki Ueda retires. So,
which we saw at the beginning of Queen of Villains.
Queen of Villains, yes, it's the first Queen of Villains match on the list, so should be a lot of fun. If you want to, you can check out my interviews with my Sakurai and Sari over on Fightful right now. They're both up. I'm not gonna lie to you folks, being able to just drop the Sari interview right after she had that match, very much a power move for myself. I will not lie. That was the 5th interview. We're working on the 6th now. Listen, we just keep them going, So shout out to Sari, which brings me to my match of the week. Sari versus Bozilla.
Great match.
Just, she's bleeding for the love of the game out here, folks. So this is why we watch, I had a feeling. I just had a feeling. And the moment they started throwing the chairs, I was like, oh, here we go. And she did such a good blade job that blood just never went away. Like, that was a Crimson mask for the Crimson Champion. Everyone should go check that out over on Wrestle Universe. If you do want an old time Joshi match, which was part of my plan, I did watch the Beauty Pair versus Monster Ripper and Mami Kumano from January 4th, 1979. I just wanted to get an old match in there one time,
Yeah. It looked like you would like a 3.5. So
yeah, it was good. Really,
so in comparison is what you're saying.
So the beauty pair matches, the difficulty of that is that one, Jackie Sato is so much better than everyone else, and the other part is that a lot of it's clipped, so like you can only have so much. So had it not been clipped, it probably would have been a higher rating, but it was really good for a clipped match.
Sure.
It was, and the crowd was crazy. You want to talk about heat? You want to talk about the opposite of the TNA pay-per-view? That match had heat. Anyways, those are my matches of the week. Thank you for listening, everyone. Happy we could go 30 minutes over again for no freaking reason. We talked about TNA forever.
Yeah.
Oh! I never got to tell you my Falcon story. We put a pin in that.
Yeah, your Falcon. Yeah, what a teaser we had.
So you know how you said, like, wow, the Falcon's their name. What a great name. So in high school, we had this.
Can I do my plugs before you tell the story?
It's 2 seconds long.
Okay, all right.
This is one of my plugs. This kid from Greece had a middle name of Falcon. So as a result, we of course called him the Greek Falcon. Continue.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pitch naming our eventual kid. No, this isn't news.
Ryan Falcon.
Middle name Falcon. Ryan Falcon Knightsey Jr. Well, that only you can't do a junior because my middle name is not Falcon, right? Does it have to be?
Shit, that's right. I don't know.
But Falcon is the same. My middle name is Francis, so it would be Ryan F. Knightsey Jr.
That's all you need.
F stand for freaking. Thank you, everybody. Follow me on Twitter if you like at Ryan Knightsey. I don't post anything. Follow Scotty.
Follow the count out Twitter.
Yeah, follow the count on Twitter at CountOutPod. That's where you get a lot more news and notes about the network and things that and I'll retweets of all of our shows, podcast episodes. I was on a Count Out Network podcast. Last week I was gone for very long and I did not watch Royal Quest 4, Scotty. So I watched it and reviewed it along with Curtis Spears from Ichiban Sweetcast. So there is a 2-hour episode of me discussing Royal Quest 4 with Curtis from Ichiban Sweetcast. So if you want to get my thoughts on that show, and if you've never listened to Ichiban Sweetcast, this is a perfect jumping in point, I think, for them. Granted, it's only one half team. What's that?
It's Tag League, baby. There's no better time than Tag League.
But it's a good if you're a fan of this show, if you're a listener of this show, then a good jumping on point into Ichiban Sweetcast would be, I think, that episode. Granted, it's only Curtis Spears and not Raph because he was gone in Japan for his birthday. But you'll get the idea of the vibe of their show. My match of the week is going to be Luke Jacobs versus Tomohiro Ishii from Rev Pro's Global Wars last week, I think it was. I don't think it was their best match of their series, but it was still great. I went 4 stars on it. I think Luke Jacobs is probably one of the best in Europe right now. I think that's fair to say, and I don't think he'll disagree with me there, Scotty. I think he's probably up there for sure. Other plugs. I'm working on a couple series with Patreon, so you always want to make sure to get that. I'm working on some scheduling stuff. Hope maybe I can try to get another ballot episode out before the ballots are due in November. At the very least, I'll definitely have an episode of me giving my thoughts on the Observer ballot. If you want to get some Hall of Fame discussion out there. But I'm also working on some new series for the Patreon next year. I've done a lot of work and research on one for sure, and I probably have one episode. I can probably record that episode at some point this week as well. So yeah, a lot of new stuff that's going to happen in the new year as well. I've also been working on revamping our Count Out Award show stuff, and I have a revamp, and I think we're close to being ready, but that obviously won't start until the new year, I guess, or close to the end of the new year. So any other plugs for me? I'm going to be on Faces and Feels cast at some point. I think next week on Saturday is when I'm going to be recording. So that's going to be out at some point. If you want to hear Faces and Feels cast. And I think that's it. I think that's it for me. So without further ado, thank you everybody for listening to this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. We will be back next week, I think, with a lot more cheerier of an episode, hopefully, and a lot more fun to be had for sure. Maybe we'll be talking about Crown Jewel, and we'll be talking about Power Struggle. Actually, we don't even have to preview Power Struggle. No, we will. We'll be previewing Power Struggle. We'll be talking about Crown Jewel, previewing Fighting Spirit Unleashed in Massachusetts, I think. And,
yeah.
I doubt I'll be able to get Scotty to preview MLW's Lucha Apocalypto. So we'll find out, I guess, next week. So that's it for this week's episode of Ring Post Radio. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this week's episode. Until then, we'll be back next week. Goodbye, everybody.